Andy, what are some of the other questions you hear?
Well, how long is the procedure and recovery? Or who's a good candidate for RLE?
And we'll also answer, how much does RLE cost? Is there financing available? Does insurance pay for RLE?
Find out how K2 Vision RLE is the permanent solution to glasses, contacts, and readers.
And cataracts too.
Right, no more cataracts.
K2 Vision's free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Space will be limited, so register now at k2visionrle.com.
Join us at our free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Sign up at k2visionrle.com.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, the original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
They say a full marathon is the ultimate test. For me, it's more than a race. It's a milestone I once thought impossible. Michelle Smallman here, and I'm running my very first marathon in New York City with the support of Gainbridge and Gainbridge Assists powered by Parity. Together, we're empowering girls and women through sports and education, with grants to 32 organizations in 21 states. Every step I take is for the finish line and for the next generation chasing their dreams. Here's to 26.2 miles and a future with no limits.
Deadlines move fast. So should your takeoffs. With Lowe's Blueprint Takeoff, you can turn blueprints into competitive quotes. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting faster and easier. And when you're ready, we'll deliver everything you need straight to the job site. Visit the Pro Desk today to get started. Lowe's, we help, you save.
The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Touchdown! Seahawks! Ken Walker III!
Get everything Seahawks at seattlesports.com.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
I had a young woman who was on a new SUV, and she had attachments to her old car because it was her first car, and she had questions because she was doubling her spending budget, and she was very fiscally responsible. It was almost making her sick. And the best path at that point was to, let's stop for the night and you go home and take a breath. She came back in the morning and bought the car. She was way happier. These are major life accomplishments. You have the ability to afford at this tier. You've secured one of the major needs in your life. You should be feeling a tremendous amount of pride and respect for your accomplishments. I'm just grateful that we get to celebrate it with them, that we get to be part of it in that aspect of it.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Mariners chairman John Stanton took out a full-page ad in the Seattle Times this weekend to thank Mariners fans. In part, it read, "The Northwest deserves a World Series. I know we are going to get there. This is the beginning of a special era of Mariners baseball. There's work to do to take that final step. That work starts now. We can't wait to get back to T-Mobile Park with all of you. Thank you again for being the best fans in baseball. Go Mariners." It was a nice gesture, Lyle. I liked it. I already saw some people tearing it apart and, I don't know, mad that he didn't say he was going to go spend millions of more dollars or something, but I appreciate it. And I, for one, think that they deserve, after that, after going all in at the trade deadline this season and performing the way they did, they deserve for maybe people to call off the dogs a little bit and not overanalyze things like this. Let's see what they do this offseason. Keep some of the excitement.
Yeah, I think it'll all be about action in the end, but it is a nice gesture and it is a nice sentiment. I think a lot of fans out there obviously hope that it's backed up with acquisitions. That's all.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. It was a nice statement.
You can look it up. I know I saw Adam Jude of the Seattle Times posted on Twitter because it's longer than what I just read, but I thought it was a really nice sentiment. As we mentioned earlier, the Seahawks managed to get a win on their bye week because the 49ers lost to the Texans. That moved them into first place in the NFC West. San Francisco lost 26-15 to the Texans in a game where they could not get anything going offensively. Kyle Shanahan was asked if this game was a reality check for them.
Our reality is pretty realistic on what we deal with every week. So we knew we had a tough game versus Atlanta, and we felt we had a tough game today. So all those things, I mean, you guys can write about that stuff. But, yeah, it's definitely harder when you lose really good players. But we've had that situation throughout this year, and all I want us to do is play as good as we can play. And then you can deal with whatever. And today we didn't play as good as we could play.
Our reality is pretty realistic. You know, he's probably like, do you see the injuries I have?
He's quite the guy for quotes. There are times where Kyle Shanahan just rips off these quotes that go...
Oh, like who knows if we're all going to be alive tomorrow?
That's exactly what I was going to reference. Is Jimmy G still going to be the starter? It's like, I don't know if we're going to be alive this weekend.
It's dark. But yeah, we love to see it. The 49ers are struggling a little bit, and the Seahawks benefit. The Seahawks, meanwhile, are tied with the Rams for first, but technically they are in first place because both teams are at 5-2 and on a bye, but the Seahawks have a better division record, so they would hold the tiebreaker. They don't face each other until November 16th and then again on December 18th.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Well, the World Series is off to quite a start. It's not going all the way of the Dodgers like I think a lot of people thought it would. Even like maybe I thought it would, or like Salk thought it would, but no. Oh no. Blue Jays in game one, they took it to the Dodgers, and it was highlighted by a 9-run sixth inning to get them out to an 11-4 win. Yeah, the Blue Jays took it to LA in game one, and it was on the back of, in that sixth inning, a grand slam from the somewhat local kid, Addison Barger.
Well, Barger has been a big part of this team's success, and he's got monster power. The pitch. Swing and a high fly ball out towards right center field. On its way. It's a grand slam. Addison Barger. And the Blue Jays have blown it open. 9-2. Wow.
Crazy. And for a kid that, again, they talked about this a lot during the ALCS, but until he was about 6 or 7, grew up in Seattle, was a Mariners fan, stayed a Mariners fan once he moved to Florida, but took it to the Mariners in the ALCS, and he took it to the Dodgers in game one. Did the script stay the same in game two? Oh, no. It was the Yoshinobu Yamamoto show in game two. He tossed his, it's crazy to even say this out loud, second complete game in a row in the postseason, where he goes 1 earned run over 9 innings, walked nobody, struck out 8, 105 pitches thrown. I mean, that guy is
insane,
unhittable. I mean, you watch him. He's got 6 different pitches. He gets swing and miss on all of them. I don't know how anybody hits that curveball that he throws. But yeah, just when the Blue Jays might have thought they were going to take some serious momentum back into LA, Dodgers steal it right back. So it's 1-1 through the first 2 games. Game 3 tonight, it'll be Max Scherzer on the mound for the Blue Jays, and the Dodgers will counter with Tyler Glasnow.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
UW defeated number 23 Illinois 42-25 on Saturday. Damon Williams threw for 280 yards and 4 touchdowns, adding another 66 yards on the ground. Wide receiver Denzel Boston had 153 receiving yards, and he caught and threw a touchdown in the win. Wide receiver Desmond Roebuck only had 3 catches, but 2 of them were for touchdowns, and the Huskies defense came up big with 2 interceptions. They are now 6-2 and have a bye before their game against Wisconsin, November 8th. Wazoo beat Toledo 28-7 Saturday. They scored 21 of their 28 points in the second quarter. Quarterback Zavai Eckhouse threw 2 interceptions in the third quarter, but the Cougs defense was able to keep Toledo from capitalizing both times. Wazoo is now 4-4, and they head to Oregon State this Saturday. And then the Kraken beat the Oilers 3-1 Saturday night. Ty Cartier had a goal, and Captain Jordan Eberle had 2. The second one came with a little help from a Matty Beniers turnover.
Going to be 2-on-1. Eberle walks in and scores. Top left corner. 3-1 Kraken. Eberle, the Seattle captain, with his second of the night.
Sorry, I should say for Matty Beniers forcing a turnover. On Eberle's first goal, he got an assist from Berkeley Catton, who was playing his first game at Climate Pledge Arena. Next up, they host the Canadiens on Tuesday night. And then a little note here this morning, Tom Pelissero of NFL Network reports that former Seahawks wide receiver Tyler Lockett will reunite with Pete Carroll and Geno Smith in Las Vegas, as the Raiders are expected to sign him this morning. Lockett has 10 catches for 70 yards so far this season in Tennessee. So hopefully the Raiders can utilize him a little more, but they're also struggling.
I was going to say, if you're Tyler Lockett, I get it. You're going back to play with Pete. You're going to play with Geno. Somewhat familiar situation, but has he watched the Raiders this year?
No.
Look, I get he was playing for the Titans, but...
Well, he's got his whole real estate business and everything. If he wanted to retire, I'm sure he could. He must just still want to play.
And must really want to play for Pete again.
Yeah, not the most ideal situation.
Yeah.
I would agree with you there. Oh, but we love Tyler.
He's
good luck
great.
to him there. And then, as you teased earlier, we can talk about that dominant Blue Jays win on Friday. I just couldn't help but think the whole time that I can't believe Salk still wants to say that this team isn't that good.
I don't know what he was watching all year. This was the number 1 seed in the American League.
Yeah.
Their offense has been a top 5 offense in the league all season. I just don't...
I mean, to me, it makes me feel better if my team loses to a team that goes on to look pretty dominant. I prefer that.
Okay, so we're a little different in this way. I want to see the Dodgers win this thing in as few games as possible.
Okay.
Because if they do, this is just how I process it, and everybody's going to be different. For me, if the Dodgers win this thing in 5 games and do so in dominant fashion, I'll be able to sleep a little bit better through the offseason thinking to myself, all right, had the Mariners gotten in, they weren't hanging with that team, and not with that group of monstars and not with that group of superstars. There's just... If the Blue Jays go out and win, there's going to be very much a sense of what could have been. Because I think if the Dodgers win, it's going to be easier to look at it and say, okay, the Mariners just are not those guys.
That's fair. I see your point of view there.
But
we both agree that they're a good team.
They're a very good team. In fact, we didn't get to this last week, and we can do so here for a minute before we get to Hawk Blogger at 6:30. But I think people in Toronto must think Salk's some version of Craig Carton.
What?
I mean, this clip has, at least just on this one tweet, has 150,000 views with people who weren't happy with some of the stuff Salk was saying about the Blue Jays going into that series, or during the series, because somebody found a clip from the show and posted it online.
Oh,
Here,
my gosh.
I'll replay the 20 seconds, and Blue Jays fans were not happy.
I'm not going to change my view on this. Salk, can you admit, this says the 206, can you admit that the Jays are really good? They've really outplayed the M's in the last 4 games, or hanging on by a thread. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not. I think that the 3 games the Blue Jays have won have in some way been dictated by the Mariners.
Yeah, I don't think Blue Jays fans love that one.
So they replayed that on a station out there and talked about it?
I don't even know if they replayed it on a station, but it was just online.
Oh, making the rounds on social media.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, he's their version of Craig Carton,
I
not
guess
knowing who
so.
Bryce Miller is, huh? Because he was like, Addison Barger. Who's he? He's not that. Okay.
Maybe
Well-
Addison's their Bryce Miller.
Well, Salk is out today. As I mentioned earlier, we've got ESPN Seahawks reporter Brady Henderson and Brock Eward taking you the rest away from 7 to 10. But first, we're going to revisit a conversation that Salk had with Brian Nemhauser, Hawk blogger. They took a deep dive into the Seahawks on Friday. So we're going to listen to that next. And then I should have already mentioned this. Shame on me. We're going to have Matt Hasselbeck join the show at 8:30 today. So make sure you tune in for that. You're listening to the Brock and Salk Show on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the Hawks Player Spotlight.
Tight end A.J. Barner is with us. How are you, man?
Doing well. It's good to be on here.
Brought to you by Three Tree Roofing.
The rookie on this O-line, Gray Zabel, is with us.
Sam is an elite quarterback.
Going deep with a different Hawks player every day at 3:30 with Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports.
Every time he walks into the huddle, we know we got a chance for a big play.
Nick Eamon-Wari is with us.
I felt good physically going into the game.
Catch up on every Hawks Spotlight on Seattle Sports on YouTube and the Seattle Sports app.
That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/sports. QUO.com/sports.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hey, at Total Wine & More, you'll love what you find this Halloween.
Me thirsty.
Oh, hey, Frankenstein. Did you enjoy that Cabernet?
Oh, good. Want margarita?
Well, all the villagers are raving about this tequila.
Ooh,
And we have it at the lowest price in town.
economical.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Progressive knows there's so many great things about being a sports fan. Like scoring the company box seats. How great is that? Trick plays that actually work. Prevent defense when your team is winning by a lot. And even more preventative prevent defense as they're hanging on by a thread. And of course, saving money when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's pretty great. Just like trick plays that actually work.
Yeah, but how often does that happen?
Complaining about sports. Not so great. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Hey, it's Reese Davis. Let's be honest, you can't keep an eye on everything. Unless you've got Blink Outdoor 4 cameras. While you're focused on the game, Blink's keeping an eye on your home.
With up to 2-year battery life and with Sync Module XR, you can cover more space without constant maintenance. No wires, no worries. Blink helps keep an eye on what matters most. Get Blink today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
It's game time, and Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota Renton are lining up with a roster that's built to dominate the field. The gas-powered RAV4, built to power through every drive, rain or shine. Or switch up the play with the hybrid RAV4, versatile, efficient, and always moving the chains. The Tacoma, tough, dependable, and clutch when it counts. And now, taking the field, the all-new 2026 Toyota Tundra, redesigned, powerful, and built for the big moments. Whether you're in the north or the south, Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton have your winning ride. Visit ToyotaofKirkland.com and ToyotaofRenton.com.
This is the home of the Seahawks.
Going to let one fly deep. Got a man out there. Ball is caught down at the 10-yard line, and it's JSN.
Seattle Sports.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Are you in pain? This is Dave Wyman, and if you're experiencing pain in your shoulder, elbow, wrist, hip, or knee, do what my friend and co-host Bob Stelton did and go see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
It's been a huge game changer. After 13 years of jiu-jitsu, I had a lot of issues with my hip. It was bad, so I'd heard a ton of patients raving about the results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner, so I had to check it out. Dr. Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. Now, people with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back to doing what they enjoy doing without pain and without surgery.
Whether it's a hip like Bob had, a shoulder, a knee, a wrist, an ankle, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, an hour away from G. Scott, who apparently has an HR nightmare he would like to bring to our air. Great. Thanks, G. That's just what I need on a Friday. An HR nightmare. Oh, awesome. Well, that's coming up an hour from now, and then Stacy will be with us today as well. Your phone calls at 9:30, and right now, and even better if you're watching on YouTube, as more and more people seem to be these days, our friend Brian Nemhauser, Hawk blogger, joining us for a nice extended conversation that'll lead into some Blue 88 as well. Good morning, sir. How are you, Brian?
I'm doing well. I have no HR violations,
Good.
no X-ray poker games that I'm bringing to the table.
How about that story? Like, how do you take that? You're a basketball fan. I know you are. You're a Blazers,
I'm a Blazers fan.
How,
I'm a Blazers fan.
A, how are you doing? But B, like, how do you, and I've been at, how do you take the league seriously again? Like, doesn't the NBA have to do something to now prove its credibility instead of other people having to prove its lack of credibility?
That's a slippery slope, Mike. I think just about every league is pretty closely embedded with,
But this
what's going on
is
in gambling.
significant. Not every league has had a referee scandal like theirs. Like, this is a significant question about whether games are legitimate or not.
100%. And I got to say, I feel like the quality of play in the NBA has drastically decreased, regardless of whether the games are fixed or not. They don't feel like there's the intensity. It's like fouls after foul. Like, I don't find the product very watchable anymore. Right. And so, yeah, I think the NBA's got a lot of issues. And I know a lot of Seattle fans would love to get the Sonics back. You may not be missing as much as you think, based on
Just
what I've
bring back like Macho Man Savage, and you could basically do the same thing. Who needs the Sonics? Just bring back, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, the Honky Tonk Man. You can do the shake, rattle, and roll, and we'll be all good.
It's true. I mean, wrestling seems to be growing like leaps and bounds. No one seems to care whether it's rigged or not.
That's a great point. All right. Let's talk some football. That's why we have you on here. Simple question, maybe a more complicated answer. How good are the Seahawks?
You know, it's really the fun question to ask and contemplate right now, because I'd say this, Mike, they are good enough to play only 4 snaps with their starting secondary all year and be 5-2. They are good enough to have 4 turnovers against the #1 defense in the NFL. to have their wide receiver throw a pass for some reason, to, run, punt the ball on the opponent's 44-yard line with a chance to like end the game and still win pretty convincingly. So I think they're very good. The question is, can they just do the obvious things? Can they run the ball from the 1-yard line to win the Super Bowl with Marshawn Lynch? Can they put Andres Munoz in, their closer, with the top of the order coming up to get to the World Series? Can they run the tush push on 4th and 1? Can they have Sam Darnold be the one that passes the football and not have it be Jalen Milroe or have it be Cooper Kupp? These are the things, honestly, that are in their way, which I think is not the worst place to be as far as controllable issues to address.
Okay, so short answer, they're good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're good.
They are good. 5-2 might not seem like much, Mike, but it's been a minute since the Seahawks have been 5-2. The funny thing is, the last time they were 5-2 is actually Pete's last year, 2023. That went really poorly. But it hasn't been a common way for the Seahawks to start many seasons. And I think that in this one, there's been some pretty good victories. And I think that there's reason to believe that they can climb higher than they have already.
What is the number one reason they are 5-2?
Man. I got to start with the people in charge. John Schneider, you got to start there for hiring Mike Macdonald. And then I go right to Mike Macdonald and the changeovers they made this offseason. We talked about gambling. They gambled and they won big. And if anyone had gambled on all the things that have gone right for them to have gone right this season, they would have won big. So, yeah, I start there. But like Mike Macdonald, just the culture he's instilled, the schemes he's brought in, the hiring of Clint Kubiak, what's gone on so quickly there offensively and defensively, that is certainly it. And then, from a player perspective, Sam Darnold is easily the one that has most outpaced expectations. And that's including JSN going nuclear and Leonard Williams still being a defensive player of the year candidate and all these other things. But what they're getting from Sam Darnold is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think I would have started with the defense, and it's not a knock on any of the other things you just mentioned, because you're right. There's so many things you can point to. They played really well. Like, they've been a good team. They've been more fun than they've been in the last few years. Like, I've just enjoyed watching them more. I think I got to throw a whole bunch of credit at Clint Kubiak for that element, to just make them more entertaining offensively. And Darnold plays a role in that. JSN's growth plays a role in that. But why are they 5-2? For me, my answer would just be defense right now is just legit. This is one of the best defenses in the league, and it's been a while since we've been able to say that.
No, it's true. And one of the things that's just wild about saying that is, it was just 2 weeks ago, the defense couldn't get off the field, gave up 38 points. They're still 6th in the NFL in points allowed. They're 4th in the NFL in yards per play. They couldn't get off the field again. They gave it 38 points. So, this defense for the most part has been the one constant of this season. The other thing that's been a constant, Mike, has been the explosive passing game, the play action passing game that you kind of referred to from Clint Kubiak. But that's also one of the places where there's some potential fall off ahead, because if you look at the situations where the Seahawks have to pass, they're not doing so well. In fact, if you look at Sam Darnold's EPA per play, and I know that's not the most fun term, but it's an accepted metric. Even Mike Macdonald uses this, right?
Can you just give us like a 10-second definition?
Expected points added. So this is basically based on the play you did at the part of the field you're on, the yards you gain, either add to the expected points you'd score or subtract.
Okay.
So turnovers factor into this, all sorts of things, but it's basically this all-in metric on your efficiency. And Sam Darnold's EPA per play difference between when he's in a non-expected passing situation and an expected passing situation is the biggest delta of all in the NFL. when they have to pass, this team has not been very good.
So is that because of, do you think that's a Darnold? I mean, now we're starting to speculate off of the numbers, which is cool. Is that a Darnold problem? Is that a Clint Kubiak issue? Is that a lack of weaponry problem? Or is that, look, a lot of the success they're having is based off of the threat of running the ball because they've committed to it, whether they're successful at it or not, and that is allowing them to have success in non-guaranteed passing situations?
Yeah, it is a combination of, I think, a few things. One, I think that is where the lack of receiver talent beyond JSN to separate starts to show up, where defenses know that they're going to be having to pass the ball. You're not getting a ton of separation from Cooper Kupp or even Torrey Horton. I think that's where some of the pass protection issues start to show up. If you look at the Seahawks pass protection when they are in these true pass sets where it's not a quick screen, where it's a normal drop back, their pass protection grades go way down. So I think that plays a role into it. I think Sam Darnold's a much lesser issue. I think it's primarily the pass protection and the receiver situation that is going to be a little bit harder to address.
It's interesting. I thought you would say more of the last thing, and just trying to figure out, they've run the ball a lot. They've not been particularly great at it, but they've continued to do it. And
yes.
you know my adage, you can't run the ball if you don't run the ball. But what's interesting about this team is it feels like they can't throw the ball unless they run the ball, because it sets up so much of what Sam does really well. And I know you hear people say every year that running the ball has nothing to do with whether play action is successful. I just don't believe it. And I'm sure that there's numbers that show it. You have yet to talk to a single person who's played the game of football who doesn't think that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's an overly simplified, analytics conversation. Generally, without getting into the details of it, I just say, of course it has some impact, but it has been proven that you don't have to be effective at running the football in order for play action to have some value. So, but if you do play action from shotgun versus under center, it's different. I think that affects things. So yes, I think you're right. They haven't had to be effective at running the ball, but they have had to run the ball in order for teams to honor it. And the story of the season, honestly, for what's going on there, Mike, is Clint Kubiak's use of two tight ends, of two backs when they have a fullback, and they'll get Robbie Utes back after the bye. That is forcing defenses to bring extra defenders near the line of scrimmage and often bring guys onto the field, an extra linebacker, or take off their nickel defender that teams don't want to do. And that has allowed a lot of these explosive play action plays in early downs. That's great. And I think that can continue. And I think also you're going to see some teams start to do what the Texans did, which is they left their nickel defender on there, Jalen Petrie. And guess what? It might not have seemed like it on the surface, but the Seahawks actually did run the ball better against the Texans than they have for most of the rest of the season. So teams are going to have to try to pick their poison. Do you want the Seahawks to be more effective running the ball? Do you want to risk these explosive play action passes? The Texans got caught in the middle. They gave up both. So I think it's a hard problem to solve for defenses too.
Hawk blogger Brian Nemhauser with me here for a few more minutes. Brock and I debated this yesterday. Are you ready to commit to Sam forever? Are you going to put a ring on that? Are you ready to say he's the guy?
I am ready to say that forever's a long time, Mike. I only got one
forever
ring
in football. Forever in football terms. Like the next 3 or 4 years. Like, is he your guy? Are you willing to commit to Sam and say, I'm not on the hunt for another quarterback. This is my quarterback for this year and moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's a yes on that. And I would say there were some troubling things that showed up the last two games that he's got to eliminate, and he had mostly done. I think toward the end of the Jacksonville game where he got hit and decided to try to throw the ball, it got up in the air. He was very fortunate there wasn't a Jacksonville defender there to pick it off and maybe turn that game over. And then in this game, he made two decisions. You could argue he made three bad decisions on the touchdown, the sack strip. Why he didn't throw it away initially, why he chose to break the pocket, and then why he chose to hold the football that way. That's 3 bad decisions that were really, really costly in a game that they had control of. So it's less about the fact that he's got this amazing ability to play the game in a really efficient and really explosive manner, and more, you still got to see him eliminate those, because against a good team, against the Rams, against a playoff team in a playoff game, any one of those decisions could be the difference between, we've seen it in other sports, right? We just talked about it. You can't make those decisions and win big. So that's the part that he's got to work on. But give me another guy that you'd rather have at his contract for the next 3 years than Sam Darnold. I don't think it exists.
No, I think that's a good point. And you do have him in that way. So it's not like you even really need to make a decision on him. He's here. And then it's really more about whether you're searching elsewhere. I think you're right. I just want to see what he does in those late game situations. Right now it's 1-2. I've said it a bunch of times. Whether you believe in quarterback wins or not, those final few minutes do come down to a quarterback's ability to move his team up and down the field and not turn the ball over in those spots. And unfortunately, right now, 1-2, there are 10 games left to play. He's probably going to have 5 or 6 more opportunities in that last minute or two to win or lose games. And by the end of that, I think we'll have just a much clearer idea of who he is in those spots.
But how do you square that with that question with the fact that he's got as many quarterback wins as any quarterback in football since last season, and he has as many game-winning drives as any quarterback in football the last 2 seasons? I don't know that you can say it's some massive question for him that isn't a question for others, but I do agree with you. His decision-making in general in some of those moments is still up for debate, and I think there's certainly room for improvement there.
I would definitely agree with that. I think that Sam Darnold has been a revelation so far this season, Lyle. There was the biggest question heading into this season. We were all kind of not sure what to expect. And I think during training camp, we started to kind of believe that this could work, but I don't know. There's still some, I think Salk still got some hesitation. I've noticed that. I think back to the fact that Geno Smith was also an MVP candidate in his first full season here. And I heard Ben Solak on with Bump and Stacy last week saying, there could still be some regression here for Darnold and JSN as the season goes along. But I just feel like this Kubiak system has set them up so well that I'm pretty confident that this isn't fool's gold.
Yeah, I don't think so either, especially when you look at those two have had time together and the fact that things have clicked so well after week 1. Yeah, it's looked, not that there's not going to be bumps in the road throughout a course of a season. Every team has them, but I don't know how you've watched Sam Darnold through the first half of the season and say anything other than this has been beyond pretty much any of the expectations that most people said. He's been awesome. I mean, you're right. You're right that Geno Smith looked like an MVP candidate his first full year too, but the way they've operated it's looked great. And
it feels more sustainable, right?
Definitely feels more sustainable. And the fact that they're still not running the ball as efficiently as they could be yet, kind of like how we talked about to start the hour, how the defenses look so good and they're not even firing on all cylinders yet because you haven't had Witherspoon, you haven't had Julian Love, you haven't had Eamon Warrior for a lot of the first part of the year. Obviously, they've had the running backs, but the running game hasn't been as prevalent as I'm sure they'd like it to be. And you know that this is a team that wants to be a really complimentary football team, and they want to really run the football well, and I'm sure it's something they're really working on throughout this bye week and have been working on it all season. And when that gets to the point where they're really efficiently running the football, then the offense can still potentially take another level up too.
No, I completely agree. And the thing with them not having run the ball as successfully as they would have liked to so far is that they haven't abandoned it. So they still have that as part of their game. They've still been able to utilize that run game to get those big chunk plays downfield to JSN. And I do think it'll come. I think losing Robbie Utes was probably a bigger deal than we've talked about, because you can point to probably at least 3 or 4 plays that he single-handedly opened up for Ken Walker this season. So the fact that they're going to be getting him back, the fact that, like we said, maybe they could maybe they could add a guard at the trade deadline. Maybe they can see if Christian Haynes can come in and compete now that he's healthy. I do have a lot of optimism that they can get more from the run game in this, like I said, almost second half of the season. And that should really only open things up more, which is wild because Darnold and JSN have been so impressive already.
And you would think not you would think, you know that once they get the run game going, that's only going to help Darnold that much more because he's done all this and looked as good as he has when the run game has not been, I shouldn't say hasn't been there at all, but hasn't been there at a lot of points through the first half. And if it changes in the second half.
I mean, he's the league's leading receiver and not by a little. I think he's ahead of Jamar Chase by like almost 100 yards and he's close to 1,000. So it's going to be really, he could be on pace for a record-breaking season.
Yeah, close to 1,000 yards through 7 games, which is crazy for a team that was expected to be an incredibly run-heavy team.
Yeah, there was a lot of concern about losing DK Metcalf, and I think that has washed away. Didn't see much of him last night in that Steelers-Packers game.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't much of an X factor. That's for sure.
You could. By the way, those Steelers uniforms were horrible. We talked about that off air, but I can't get over. I know they're throwbacks, but I think you got to do away with those.
I always thought they had to do away with those stupid Bumblebee uniforms, and these didn't look that different than those. Maybe this was them trying to spin it off and not run those back out there this year, but whatever they put out there yesterday, it was not good. It was supposed to be some ode to their old jerseys, and it was really awful. It looked like I don't want to see those on my TV again.
No, I have to agree with you on that. And I think the Steelers are in for a little bit of a rude awakening here. People were like, oh, Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers are doing really well. But after last night's loss to the Packers, they have the Colts, the Chargers, the Bengals and Bears aren't that tough. But then after that, they face the Bills. The Ravens will probably have Lamar back by then. So I think things are going to get a little tougher for them, even though they may already have that division locked up because of how much the Ravens and Bengals have fallen on their faces. Yeah. I don't know.
That's a little bit of a gauntlet of a schedule, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ravens don't look like it this second, but the Ravens with Lamar Jackson is a little bit different than the Ravens with
Of course. I mean, they got
Tyler Huntley.
They got off to a rough start, but yeah, I don't know. I guess the Steelers are probably going to, even with those tough games, take that division. It's a weird one. I can't believe the Patriots are in first place in the AFC East. We were talking about that earlier. This is a weird time. There's a lot of parity in the NFL. It's kind of like the conversation we were having about the American League in baseball, where that's I think another reason for so much excitement for the Seahawks right now and the growth that they have with getting guys back from injury, possibly making a trade at the trade deadline. Like, it's wide open, and they're already looking like a contender, and I think they can take an even bigger step towards that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Quick side note, when Lamar comes back, is there any world the Ravens just rip off 8 in a row? Because they should not be this bad. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't argue against it. They should be much better than they've been playing. Maybe taking all those ping pong tables and games out of the locker room.
I was going to say, that didn't seem to do much this week. I know they didn't have Lamar, but I don't know. I mean, I know they don't have a lot of pass catchers, and that's always been the case, but it just, again, that Ravens team is so much better than what they've run out there so far.
Yeah, it's
They should be, at least.
Does seem like they might be missing Mike McDonald defensively a little bit, too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we are going to turn it over to Brady Henderson and Brock Heward for the rest of the show now, even though we'll still be here with you as well. And then we have Matt Hasselbeck coming up at 8:30. Make sure you stay tuned. This is the Brock and Salk Show on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Sean Payton is a bully.
Bump and Stacy.
He went out, tried to bully Russell Wilson on the low.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
I don't care how you feel about Russell Wilson. I think that Sean Payton, he saw an opportunity to take shots at a guy that he felt like wasn't going to say anything back to him. I've heard that he's a decent guy, but in that moment, that was some bully activity right there. Russell, I'm proud of you. Clap back at him and called out some facts, too. So I'm proud of Russell in that moment.
Only on Seattle Sports on 710. Seattle Sports on YouTube and the Seattle Sports app.
This Breast Cancer Awareness Month, choose care that puts you first. At Snoqualmie Valley Health, you won't wait weeks for a mammogram. Appointments are available now just 30 minutes east of Seattle. Experience the difference with advanced 3D mammography and our new Breast Health Suite, designed for accuracy, comfort, and peace of mind. If you're 40 and older, yearly screenings are recommended, and no referral is needed if you haven't had a mammogram in the past year. Don't wait. Detect early. Schedule today at snoqualmie-valleyhealth.org.
What if you had the smartest Wi-Fi? If you did, it'd be Xfinity, of course, and it'd come with their best state-of-the-art equipment. It would boost speeds to the devices that needed them most, prioritizing your most important connections, whether you were streaming, gaming, or gaming while pretending to work. And it would let you stream 4. That's right, 4 games on one screen. It would even power your mobile connection so you could bring faster, secure Wi-Fi speeds with you where you use it most. It would be proactive and fix problems before you knew you had them. Impressive, right? And it would have security features that protect you from threats at home and online. Kinda like a force field for your life. If you had the smartest Wi-Fi, well, everything would work together seamlessly to keep you connected, no matter what. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply.
At Bible Law Group, we know how important voting is. That's why we're partnering with Seattle's own rock star Aaron Jones to rock the vote Thursday, October 30th at the Queen Anne Beer Hall. Vote and enjoy delicious smash burgers with Aaron and local bands by getting your ticket at bit.ly/BibleRock. If you've misplaced your ballot, don't panic. In Washington, you can still print a provisional ballot online and drop it in any official ballot box by November 4th. When prayer just ain't cutting it for your legal needs, we suggest 2 things: vote and call Bible Law Group.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/sports. QUO.com/sports.
Guys, tired all the time, gaining weight, low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. Right now, Revive Men's Health Washington is making it easier to get answers with a comprehensive wellness panel. It's not just a lab test, it's where better performance begins. Our providers will check your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. A $400 value for just $99, or free if you start treatment. Over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to restore their energy, mood, and confidence. So if you're ready to feel better and live stronger, call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Offer ends November 30th. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact us for full offer details.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check Kirk Herbstreit's pregame analysis first, before talking to your brother-in-law.
In this game, the key thing to watch will be the offensive line versus their front seven. If they can get pressure without blitzing, this could be a long night.
Okay, Kirk.
I know stuff.
Ooh, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first and see what you could save. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Potential savings vary, including based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Who knew caffeine could taste this good? With 5-Hour Energy Shots, caffeine just got a serious flavor upgrade. We're talking big flavor, from watermelon to strawberry, banana to sour apple, packed into a tiny 2-ounce bottle. You'll get as much caffeine as a 12-ounce premium cup of coffee with 0 sugar and 0 crash. And with 17 bold flavors to choose from, there's a shot for every mood. Find your favorite flavor in-store today or grab a variety pack online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon and give your caffeine a flavor upgrade.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Give me a freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike. Mike
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Oh, not today. Not this day, no. No, it is not Brock and Salk today. Brock and the Hitman today. Brady Henderson in the house.
That's right.
Good morning. Been too long.
It has been a while, Brock. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing great. Yeah, Mariners go on a World Series run, and then I'm not on the road anymore, and we don't get as much of the Hitman. So it is a privilege and an honor to have you in the house for the next 3 hours coming off of a Seahawk bye. You're absolutely the guy we need to have. So appreciate you jumping aboard and filling in. Salk just needed an R&R day.
Yeah.
You know, I get it. It's been a heck of a run, and I think he just wanted to really see what happened in Game 3 of the World Series before he comes in tomorrow and we get back after it. But Brady's in the house. And I'm going to guess on a bye week. I don't know. What does Brady Henderson do on his bye week? Does he get to Cancun? Does he go to Tahiti? Is he in Fiji with his golf clubs? What does Brady Henderson do on a week off?
I thought about it. I thought about going somewhere and bringing the clubs. But no, I slept. That's what I did. I slept. And really, with the weather being what it was, I couldn't do a whole lot more. I did get out to golf one time at Canterwood with a couple buddies. But aside from that, man, I caught up on sleep. It is the one thing. It felt good.
It is the one thing. Like when you live in a place with lots of sunshine, I don't take it for granted. I love it. It gives you life. But there is something about just a milk bowl of a day, 50. The drip of the rain, I'm sure, on your boat, too. Molly's parents had a boat growing up, and I got a few chances to get on there. And, man, do you sleep good on a boat on just a wet, socked in, just foggy, damp. How good were those naps this week?
Yeah, I don't think I actually got in any naps. This was all just I mean, there was a couple of days where I was under the weather, but yeah, I slept pretty good. Now, when it's windy, like it has been, then it gets a little dicey because you gotta like batten down the hatches. I had stuff on the roof of my boat flying around, and so it got a little tricky. But it was good. It was a good buy.
Well, what do you think? What do you think yesterday? It does give you a chance. You know, Mike McDonald was on with us last week, and we'll get into a whole bunch of takeaways, lots and lots of football to talk over the course of these 3 hours. But yesterday, a bye week affords, I think, a Seahawk fan, a football fan, a chance to just relax, no stress, just get to watch everybody else play and perform. Is you kind of had optics and goggles, I'm sure, with a little bit of a Seahawks in the back of your mind. What jumped out?
Well, I did watch that Houston-San Francisco game. The 49ers, because of a weird scheduling quirk, were the only NFC West team to play yesterday because the Seahawks, Rams, and Cardinals were all on bye. But fortunately, that game was on TV, and my big takeaway from that game was I think you're going to look back in a few weeks and say that was where it started to become a two-team race in the NFC West because the 49ers, for as admirable of a job as they've done over the last month or so of weathering a crazy injury storm, the next man up thing only works so long when you have guys, when those next men up are replacing irreplaceable players like Nick Bosa, like Fred Warner. And I think you saw that yesterday where they just couldn't keep up with Houston's offense. And look, the NFL constantly makes people look foolish for writing teams off too early or for making premature conclusions. But when you lose Fred Warner, when you lose Nick Bosa, who knows how long Christian McCaffrey is going to hold up at his age and with some of the injuries he's dealt with. George Kittle has been banged up quite a bit, so I think this is going to be a two-team race going forward in the NFC
The only
West.
advantage they have, I thought the exact same thing, and then kind of looked at it and realized they've got, like a last-place schedule. So they do have, and again, schedules change because you think, wow, Falcons are a pretty good team. Oh, Falcons aren't very good. Oh, Dolphins are done. They're cooked. Oh, they go and play their best game of the year. I mean, just to your point, once you think a narrative is done and set in stone, be very careful in this league. But I did look and see over the course of the remaining 9 games or so, their schedule much, much easier than the Seahawks and certainly the Rams.
Yeah, Yeah, I haven't looked at that, but that is something to take into account. I mean, a lot of the NFC, just because the NFC has been so strong, a lot of the NFC teams do have tough schedules. I think the Seahawks, their remaining schedule of teams is above 500.
Yep.
So I just think, I mean, can you imagine that team going on a run without some of the star power that they're
Hard
missing?
to imagine, man. Yeah, hard to imagine. In this league, you do, and you see it every single week. Guys go down. You see a horrific injury yesterday
Scatterbo.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, I actually dislocated my ankle, and what happened for me is that when I dislocated, I did playing basketball after the Holiday Bowl, my redshirt freshman year. Started that year, came home. Uncle Damon was in town saving the Seahawks with Paul Allen, and he's like, hey, I need another guy if you want to jump in this little men's basketball league I'm playing in. And I was like, sure, and jumped in and went down for a fast break and landed, and I was like, uh-oh, something's not right here. Like, uh-oh, this is really not good. And I'm like, oh, my knee, I'm moving my knee, and I actually moved my ankle, and then I look down at my ankle, and it's filling with blood.
Oh, no.
Yeah, at which point Uncle Damon, it's in superpower, couldn't do it today, picked me up and got me to his SUV, got to the hospital. So I had a open dislocation. So my whole foot and things went over my fib tib, and my fib tib didn't break. So yesterday, Cam Scadaboo's whole foot goes over, and his tibia and fibula break, and that's why it kind of stays in that spot. Mine did not. My bones did not break. My ankle went over and then popped right back. So I actually like had a whole puncture wound where my bones didn't break.
Wow.
So I am sure they reset his quickly, and he's going to get a plate and screws, and just terrible, right? I mean, just kind of brutal to watch. And yes, you can survive one of those injuries, but these 49ers got a lot of them, and it's going to be hard to. Now, maybe Purdy comes back, and as I said, their schedule lightens up a little bit, and they get a couple wins, and you know, this is the NFL. But last thing here before Need to Know, and we'll get to lots of things that happen all over the weekend, is you again watch those games, and you know, Brady, and you reported it. I think it was your last tweet before you slept for your bye week. You talked about Spoon and Julian and these horses all coming back in the stable. How big of a difference do you think that makes here in the second half push?
I don't know how it doesn't make a big difference. And I think that is probably one of the two big stories of the first 8 weeks of the Seahawks season. Obviously, Sam Darnold is the biggest story, but second would be how well they have gotten by with a bunch of backups playing in their secondary. And really, some of those backups are guys who are still going to play normally, but have had to play more than maybe they would have anticipated. And despite Julian Love missing, I think, 4 games, Devin Witherspoon missing 5 games, Nick Emanwari missing basically 4 games, 3 games and all but 4 snaps of a 4th game. I think they were at least going into Sunday allowing, I think it was tied for the 6th fewest points, under 20 points a game, which is just remarkable when you consider some of the firepower that they've had to play without for most of the first, third of the season.
And getting Derek Hall back, I think you'd put him on that list too. And obviously he didn't miss as much as those guys, and that D-line has been rather healthy, and I think it has aided those coverage guys on the back end a ton. I'll just say this, watching yesterday and getting a chance to do that a lot more than a normal Sunday, there is not a team in the league. There is not an upper crust and a lower crust, a varsity and a JV. That the Seahawks are right there. And obviously now tied with the Rams atop the NFC West with just the 2 losses. But you look at all of the talent, you look at all the teams, you look at all the quarterbacks, you look at all the systems, you look at all the cultures, however you want to try to define it, Brady. I didn't sit there in any way and go, oof, yep, Seahawks can't play with them. And in fact, the Sunday nighter, right? The Seahawks went into Pittsburgh and handled the Steelers the same way the Packers went in there last night and handled them because they were the better team. And, man, if Salk said it one time, he said it 100 times about the Mariners and their run to nearly the World Series. And he's like, they're the better team. And there were not many teams I watched yesterday where I'm like, well, that's a better team than Seattle. Seattle is right there with them, and as you said, getting a lot of bodies back and getting healthy and getting back to work this week for a Sunday nighter in D.C. this weekend. Brady Henderson in for Salk. It is Brock and Salk. Everything you need to know coming up next right here on Seattle Sports.
Wyman and Bob.
It's going to take a bit for this team, I think, to get past this moment.
Every afternoon at 2.
You know, to be that close, and you were just steps away, and you came up short. Some of them sat in that dugout and watched the Jays out there celebrating, and they're going to use that as fuel.
You're never going to be happy unless you win the last game, right?
Yeah, but somebody's always going home disappointed, and hopefully it's the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that'll be easy to root for the Dodgers.
Plus, they've got my favorite non-Mariner, Mookie.
Oh, that's
Betts.
right, Mookie.
Love Mookie.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Well, maybe a little bye week gave you a time to get to some of your to-do lists. And if on your to-do list is to take care of your insurance because you've watched your premiums just go up and up, maybe your situation in your family has changed and you don't even know if your insurance is covering you the way you need to, then you need to do what Molly and I did, my mom and dad have done, many of my family and friends have done. Take the First Mark Insurance Challenge and go find out. I know it's stressful. I know insurance is confusing. I know you don't want to deal with it. Well, that is why you need First Mark. Here's how they go to work for you. They fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage. Then, unlike you and me, they go to the market. Dozens of major carriers they've got that connective tissue with to find you the best fit. That's it. There's no stress. There's no confusion. And oh, by the way, it's totally free too. Here's an even better way to look at it. First Mark's your teammate right there in the huddle with you. And they spent the last 30 years helping thousands of families, including mine, successfully manage this complicated world of insurance. So if it is on your to-do list, check it off today. Don't wait a day longer. Take the First Mark Challenge, and you might be the next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. It's all right there. Firstmarkinsurance.com. Your teammate that goes to work for you.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. And love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Nobody hooks you up like Popeyes. The Big Box is the reward that keeps on rewarding. Crack it open and you're greeted by 2 pieces of crispy signature chicken. Or if you want, 3 tenders. Nestled in there with the 2 sides speaking to you most in this moment. You got that biscuit, and what are you waiting for? Dig right on in. That's feast mode activated. And you're in Big Box business for $6. Love that chicken from Popeyes. At participating U.S. restaurants. Price may vary. Tax extra.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Want more Seahawks content? Join me, G. Scott, on The Reset. New episodes of the podcast every Monday and Thursday on YouTube or on the Seattle Sports app.
Big Trees is Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company. With over 30 years of experience, Big Trees provides trees of all sizes for residential and commercial projects. Our 30-acre nursery features thousands of trees and hundreds of varieties that thrive in our Pacific Northwest climate. For hours, directions, and to see our wide selection of trees, visit BigTreeSupply.com.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
With football season comes colder weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here with Keith Dashafee from locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. So Keith, what's your next big play?
Well, Steve, right now get 40% off qualifying installs or no payments and no interest for 12 months on approved credit.
Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Ryan Roland Smith here. For more than 35 years, the NBA Health Insurance Trust has been helping local builders, contractors, and their employees save money and gain peace of mind. They offer customized group health plans from the state's leading insurance providers. Small and mid-sized businesses deserve big healthcare access. The NBA Health Trust brings you the coverage you want at a price you can trust. Find out more at MBAHealthTrust.com. That's MBAHealthTrust.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, you know it's important, Brady. You gotta win the bye week. Coaches talk about it all the time. Got to win that bye week. Got to get everybody healthy. Got to keep everybody safe. Make sure all those Seahawks come back to town today and get ready to go to work. And then it helps too when your opponents, and especially an opponent in your division that beat you in the season opener, well, it helps when they lose. And that's what happened yesterday as San Francisco went down to Houston and really got beat up physically again. D. Winters gets knocked out of that game with a knee injury. A few other starters leave that game. They lose 26-15. Kyle Shanahan asked after the game, was this a reality check, Coach, for your 49ers?
Our reality is pretty realistic on what we deal with every week. So we knew we had a tough game versus Atlanta, and we felt we had a tough game today. So all those things, I mean, you guys can write about that stuff. But, yeah, it's definitely harder when you lose really good players. But we've had that situation throughout this year, and all I want us to do is play as good as we can play, and then you can deal with whatever. And today we didn't play as good as we could play.
Rams also off, so they and the Seahawks sit atop the NFC West at 5-2. Those Niners 5-3. And Mr. Henderson, you feel like this might be the beginning of a tough stretch for the boys in San Francisco?
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the line. Our reality is pretty realistic. I think I know what he's talking about there. And he says that they've been dealing with this all year. Feels like they've been dealing with this for the last half decade. It's just no team seems to suffer as many catastrophic injuries as the 49ers, and maybe that's a product of having an older roster that made a bunch of deep playoff runs over the few years. I think my buddy Nick Wagner, who covers the team for ESPN, at one point mentioned that they've almost played another full season when you look at all the playoff games that roster has played, and maybe that's part of it. But that team is just, they've suffered some serious ones, and you just have to wonder if they can sustain it without some really important players.
Yeah.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Well, did he keep one eye on the old World Series Friday and Saturday? I'm talking to Brady, and I'm talking to all you out there after the Mariners were just 9 outs away from being on that stage. Did he kind of have like a Pirates patch on one eye? Did he kind of put your fingers and hand over one eye? Did he have a rooting interest in it? Well, it was split because you kind of got whatever you wanted going into that thing. If you wanted the Blue Jays to hammer the Dodgers, well, they did that. And some guy named, we know Addison Barger, he did damage against the Mariners as well. He did this on Friday night.
Well, Barger has been a big part of this team's success, and he's got monster power. The pitch. Swing, a high fly ball out towards right center field. On its way. It's a grand slam. Addison Barger. And the Blue Jays have blown it open. 9-2. Wow.
Yeah, that was a wow. That was a huge crooked number. Blake Snell, not particularly sharp. The Blue Jays really did the Dodgers in game one what they did to the Mariners. That's hit everyone. Everybody just hit and hit and hit. But then game two came around on Saturday, and old Mr. Yamamoto absolutely shut them down. You don't see many complete games anymore in the regular season, let alone the postseason, Brady, and that's what he did. 9 innings pitched, 4 hits, just 1 earned run allowed. Series tied 1-1 as it goes back to L.A. tonight. You got a rooting interest?
I don't know. I was just going to ask you the same thing. Where are you at with that emotional question? Do you want to see the Blue Jays win? Does that make it feel better about, okay, well, your team lost to the eventual World Series champions, or are you the other way around where you said, yeah, I just can't stand the Blue Jays. I don't want to see them win?
Yeah, I don't really like that manager for the Blue Jays. But I don't. Do I want to see the $500 million team win? Does that really feel good?
Lyle had a clear answer on this earlier. I said I want the team that beat me to look strong because it makes you feel better that they advanced. Lyle says otherwise.
Yeah, no, my take on this is I want to see the Dodgers win this in as few games as possible. Because
get it over with.
Well, and then if you're a Mariners fan, you can accept some reality if the Dodgers just win this thing handedly, where you say, okay, you're just not as good as that team. That team is, I keep using this reference because I think it's true. They're the Monstars, and you weren't going to beat those guys. So if they win like that, you can swallow it. If the Blue Jays go win that World Series, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow.
All right, if it was Mariners-Dodgers in the World Series, the Dodgers win that in how many games?
Mariners win in 7. Okay, here we go next.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Good weekend for the Kraken. They win Saturday night, off to the best start in their franchise history. Really cool. Speaking of those Mariners, I thought really, really cool. I'm going to ask you about it here after this Huskies report. John Stanton taking out a full-page ad in the Seattle Times, the paper of record, really thanking the fans in a heartfelt way. And then the fans showed up Saturday. It was wet. It was damp. It was a little bit windy. A top 25 Illinois Illini team came to Husky Stadium. And they took a beating, man. 42 points later. DeMond, after 3 picks in Ann Arbor, came back strong. Desmond Boston was absolutely on fire. And Coach Jed Fish really liked his team's effort against the top 25 foe.
We are bowl eligible, and always a great feeling to be able to be eligible to play in the postseason. And then it's great to get a win against the top 25 team, who's a very good football team, who won 10 games last year, who's now sitting here at 5-3. And Coach Bielema does a fantastic job and always has. So really, really impressed with our team on how they played all 4 quarters.
I was impressed with the touchdown celebrations. There were many of them. I love when the big guys get involved in that. I mentioned Boston. He's going to be a really good pro, by the way. 153 receiving yards. He also threw a touchdown. He caught a touchdown. Man, they are good, man. Are they Ohio State? No. They had Ohio State in their house. I think if Michigan was at Husky Stadium, it'd be a different game. They play so well at home. But I was looking at the schedule, Brady, and they're going to be favored in the next 3 games. They have every chance to be 9-2 when the Oregon Ducks roll into town. And Joe Klatt said this to us earlier this year, and he said, man, my dark horse in the Big Ten is if you can get to 10 wins in the Big Ten, as crazy as college football is now, and you go on and you reel off 5 in a row and you beat Illinois, you take care of Wisconsin's and UCLA, so you'll be favored to beat, and Oregon comes to town as a top 5 team, and you beat them, there's some stuff on the table for you, man. This thing ain't over as far as the playoff goes.
Yeah.
I really don't think it is. Well, now, that's a tall task, and that's a lot to ask.
Sure.
And that kind of rhymed right there. Just dropped a
off the dome at 7:15 in the morning. Where are you at with DeMond Williams? How he's playing, and what do you think of his pro prospects?
You know what? That sounds like a great Blue 88 question. That's everything you need to know right there. Let's slide out one of my little Blue 88s and maybe write that down, Brady, because I won't remember it. But that sounded really good. Why don't we slide that in the middle of the 2 other Blue 88? He's only a true sophomore, so he's still got some time. And there is obviously a lot going on in college football. I don't know if you saw LSU fired their coach over the weekend. Penn State job is open. Florida job is open. UCLA job is open. There is so much stuff going on. And that may play a role in the whole DeMond Williams conversation too, because I know it will play a role in Jed Fish conversations and all that good stuff. So we'll dig into that in Blue 88. But a little homework last night for Brady and I. Little shared homework assignment. And that is at nearly the halfway mark, and this was the only bye the Seahawks get. So we'll really delineate the season with this bye week, first half and second half. We'll go through back and forth a bunch of our first half takeaways. Everything that Brady has seen on a daily basis down there covering this team and what it means pushing ahead into a playoff run as well. It is Brady Anderson in for Salk. It's Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
4 Down territory. Michael Bumpus answers the top 4 football questions of the day.
What have the first 7 games of the season shown you about the Seahawks?
They're low-key deep. I mean, you got Ty Okada out there making plays.
Breakup.
You have Drake Thomas starting now. You got Josh Jobe, who was third in tackles yesterday. Nick Imawari, who's finding himself. Because guys have been hurt, guys have been able to play.
Catch every 4 Down territory on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here. For my friends at People Come First or PCF Construction Group, are you tired of just grilling in the cold and rain every winter in the Northwest? Well, with a patio cover, heater, and fireplace from PCF, you can enjoy your outdoor deck or patio all year long, staying warm and dry, even in the wintry months. And I have a special offer for you. PCF's Black Friday sale runs through November, and you can get up to 20% off your entire project, plus no payments and no interest until 2027. Most people don't consider building a deck in winter, but if you want yours ready by next spring and summer, then contact PCF right now to start planning. Spend the winter dreaming, designing, and approving your project so you're ready to build by the spring. Remember, planning and permits take time, so get started right now. Find all the offer details, get project ideas, and browse photos at pcfgroup.com or call 425-629-8476. That's 425-629-8476, pcfgroup.com.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit suplinen.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today.
This Breast Cancer Awareness Month, choose care that puts you first. At Snoqualmie Valley Health, you won't wait weeks for a mammogram. Appointments are available now, just 30 minutes east of Seattle. Experience the difference with advanced 3D mammography and our new Breast Health Suite, designed for accuracy, comfort, and peace of mind. If you're 40 and older, yearly screenings are recommended, and no referral is needed if you haven't had a mammogram in the past year. Don't wait. Detect early. Schedule today at snoqualmievalleyhealth.org.
The holidays are here, full of joy, family, friends, and yes, a little hustle and bustle. That's why you need Aleve. Between cooking, shopping, and all those extra errands, aches and pains can sneak in. Aleve is here to help with long-lasting body pain relief. Don't let body pain slow you down. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, you can keep up with the season's magic and all that awaits. Pick up Aleve and get back to what really matters, making memories. Use as directed.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Touchdown! Seahawks! Ken Walker III!
Get everything Seahawks at seattlesports.com.
Fall rains can expose hidden roof problems, and once water gets in, the damage only gets worse. Is your roof ready for the season? Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. At State Roofing and Exteriors, we repair and replace roofs with a quality you've trusted for decades. And yes, we also provide siding, windows, decks, and gutters to keep your entire home protected. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule a free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
John here with Happy Hauler. We want to help get your unwanted items to those in need. Furniture and household items you plan on throwing away? We'll take them and prioritize donating and recycling, keeping items out of the landfill, and giving useful items a second happy home. Happy Hauler is Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We work with over 20 nonprofits all over Western Washington to donate used items. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. Reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, every Monday, Brady, Salky, and I like to do a little takeaways from a Seahawk game. We've done actually a bunch of Mariners takeaways over the last month as well. We usually do it at 8:30, but at 8:30 today, we got a special guest. We got Matt Hasselbeck that's going to jump on the show and give us his perspective on everything we've seen from these Seahawks through the first half of the season. So we decided to bump takeaways to 7:30, and our kind of homework assignment were really what were the biggest takeaways for you and I over these first 7 weeks of the season. And I'll get this party started. Why don't you and then I'll give one and you give one, and we'll just kind of go back and forth. And I think for me, one of the big takeaways through the first half of this season is Clint Kubiak. Sam Darnold's been talked about. Oh, yeah.
Takeaways.
Thank you. Sam Darnold's been talked about, and we'll get to him. JSN's been talked about. We'll get to him. We'll get to a lot of the cast of characters that's been talked about. Mike McDonald gets a lot of praise for what he's doing defensively, and rightfully so. But do you realize that the Seahawks are the 5th best scoring offense in the league?
Yeah.
27.6 points per game. I think we all realize, if you've watched these games, how explosive this offense is, too. I think week one left a lot of us a little worried about, oh, my gosh, is this just going to be ground and pound and no DK Metcalf and no take the top off and no explosive plays? And this offense couldn't have been further from that over the last 6 weeks. So number 5 in scoring offense, number 10 in yards per game, and really have done it much more through the air than the ground. But if I were to say one thing about Kubiak through 7 games, one kind of adjective to describe him for me, Brady, it'd be aggressive.
You love the under center stuff too, don't you?
Oh my!
You love how much? Yeah.
Oh, how many times did I text you last year, Brady? What's the percentage in the shotgun, Brady?
I'll tell you, but you're not going to like it. Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's fascinating how explosive they've been, despite, when if I were to tell you, okay, this is going to be a predominantly under center offense with a lot of 2 tight end sets, a lot of 2 running back sets, they're playing with a fullback, or at least, when Robbie Utes is healthy, they are playing with the fullback. You might think, oh, and by the way, they're going to run the ball more than any other team in the NFL. You're probably going to think, okay, this is a ground and pound offense that really isn't that explosive, and yet there they are throwing the ball over people's heads every week. So I do think there's a direct correlation there, because they have faced, I believe, the highest number of run plays the highest number of loaded boxes in the NFL, or at least that was the case after last week. And so
those 2 things are tied together, man.
Right.
You got to tie them together. And Clint Kubiak, through the first half of this season, is it perfect? No. But for year 1 in a system, 8 months together as a crew and players, it is way more tied together than it's been in a long, long time here in Seattle.
That's right.
Takeaways.
The Seahawks nailed the offseason, Brock. I'm sure you guys have talked about this before, but look at all of the major moves that they made over the offseason, Clint Kubiak being one of them. I think in a normal year, that might be the biggest one, but you could come up with a handful of really home run moves that they've made. Let's start with the quarterback swap. moving on from Geno Smith, which was not an entirely popular decision among a lot of fans, and finding a better player who's younger and cheaper in Sam Darnold and picking up a third-round pick in that swap. I mean, that alone, I think, would have made this a really good offseason when you find your quarterback. But they've also found their offensive coordinator. Look at some of the veteran additions they made. Cooper Kupp and DeMarcus Lawrence have both been really good, especially for what they're making. And then some of the draft picks. And you're still waiting on some of those guys to really pop. Some of them have kind of been held back by injuries, but Gray Zabel looks like a stud. I think even with the missed time, you're starting to see how much of an impact player Nick Emmanwori can be. And then, just go down the list. Torrey Horton has been a good third receiver in addition to their punt returner. And you got some other guys in there. Robbie Ute, still waiting to really see him because he's been on IR. I think he is going to come back for this game on Sunday night. But the bottom line is you just go down the list, one move after another, home run moves by John Schneider.
This is what you hope, right? When you have continuity and you have alignment. And this organization has that, from ownership to president to GM. Obviously, it was Paul and for a long time and now Jody. But they've had that continuity and alignment in their personnel department, their scouting department. And you hoped, Brady, what you hoped is that in year 2, after going through a whole season together, Mike McDonald and John Schneider would kind of bond the way that Pete and John did over their years together.
Yeah.
And Mike would be able to say to John, this is really what I need. And John would be able to say to Mike, hey, Mike, this is what we really can do and what we want to do. What do you think? And those two could be on the same page, because you don't have off seasons like that unless then you have the last piece of alignment in that chain, which is GM to head coach.
Yeah, and they didn't have that last season in their first offseason together. When they hire, McDonald late, you're sort of a little bit behind schedule, I think, in some of the free agency planning. And that I'm guessing that was part of the reason why a lot of their free agent moves didn't pan out last year. Now, a lot of those were smaller swings, right? Mm-hmm. So the penalty for not missing or not hitting on those guys wasn't that severe, but look, you traded
probably purposefully, right?
Yeah, right.
Probably purposefully too.
That it was those lower cost 1-year deals, but yeah, I mean, you moved on from both your starting inside linebackers by midseason. Rayshon Jenkins didn't last. I mean, a lot of those guys just did not pan out, but those were smaller swings. Took some bigger swings this offseason, and they have been paying off.
Takeaways.
Well, this is a number of years now where you can look at the impact of rookies. And Ken Walker came in here, and Reek Woolen came in here, and that class came in here as rookies, and we're not overwhelmed. You mentioned Nick Emmanwori there and some of the others. I mean, for a fifth-round wide receiver, Torrey Horton, to do what he's done in the return game and also the big play game down the field, to see Arroyo come in and slide in and fit his role, and I think he's going to only get better and better. To have Gray Zabel actually quiet and solidify an offensive line at guard after going through veteran after veteran after veteran after veteran for so many years. You mentioned Oots earlier. You're going to get a taste of him. And then Nick Emmanwori may be the wild card of all of them, Brady, because his ceiling, whoa. Like these last 2 games where he's played predominantly nickel, what did he tweet out? He played 90% of the nickel snaps, I believe, versus Houston.
The last 2 games, yeah.
Yeah, now that gives you an abundance of opportunity for Mike McDonald to move those chess pieces around. And now where you're going to put Spoon in that mix, is he just going to play outside? What do you do then with Nick? Where do you slide him and move him? I mean, this is a rookie class that I would say through 7 weeks. And remember, this was a 10-win team. This was not coming into a Tennessee Titans team. This was not coming into, here's your job, and here's your job, and here's your opportunity. You got to go earn it. You got to go win that spot. Outside of really Gray Zabel, everybody else has had to earn their snaps and earn their opportunities, and they've done so in some incredibly positive ways. And if it's a 7-game learning curve, I think it's been like upward and upward and upward. And if it keeps doing that over these next 9-10 weeks into the playoffs, that's when draft development teams become very, very dangerous playoff teams.
Yeah, and I'm curious what happens with Emmanwori now that Witherspoon is coming back, because when healthy, Witherspoon is their nickelback. He slides inside in passing situations. I think that they should just keep Emmanwori in there. I've seen enough over the past couple games to see a real difference maker in there, and a guy who was really just getting his feet wet. You remember he played 4 snaps, I think it was, in the opener, missed the next 3 games, kind of had to ease back in that Tampa Bay game, and now you're just seeing a guy, it looks like he's taking off and who's still learning the position, but I think you're seeing him play with, kind of that, you would probably call it that governor being kind of slowly stripped away, and you're just seeing a guy make decisive decisions, and Mike McDonald talks about how when he sees something, he goes, and you got to imagine that for a rookie, that's only going to continue to go on an upward trajectory. So I'm ready to see him in there full time as their nickelback. He's shown that he can do that regardless of what personnel groupings the offense throws out there, which you wouldn't really think of him as being a traditional nickelback because he's built more like a safety, a linebacker maybe, but he's been doing it.
Yeah, and remember, Spoon was a elite corner at Illinois, playing outside. He was a press man, elite corner, and certainly can slide right out there, and who knows, maybe play even more to his strengths as well.
Takeaways.
Sam Darnold is a playmaker, Brock. And I don't think I fully realized that. Maybe I just didn't watch him closely enough in Minnesota last season, but my impression of him was a guy who could make plenty of throws, a guy who had good mobility, but I didn't see as much of the playmaking as we've seen. And what I mean by that is the ability to not only escape pressure and avoid sacks, which he's done a really good job of, but to create those big plays on the run. And it feels like every game we've seen at least one of those plays where he escapes a sack and he's moving and he makes a big-time throw on the run. And not just throwing to his right, but moving to his left, throwing it back across his body, still doing it accurately, and creating those big plays. And it feels like that is a weekly occurrence at this point. Now, you're seeing some of that by design, just with the natural boot game that comes off of those outside zone runs. But you see it a lot, just the ability to create, I think, is the biggest takeaway with Sam Darnold for me. And you're seeing a quarterback who I think is doing a good job of playing on time and on schedule, and that's a big reason why the sacks have been as low as they are. But you're also seeing a guy who can create an escape and create some big plays on the run, which has been the biggest takeaway for me.
Is he listening to his feet?
I would say he's listening to his feet. Yeah, with one of the lowest sack rates in the NFL. You know what? As soon as I heard, I can't remember who it was that first mentioned that. Maybe it was Darnold himself, but I knew that was something that a former quarterback he was going to love.
I think it was Coobs. I think you texted it to me even. We had a little conversation about it. I think it was Coobs and Sam both talking about that, and we can certainly have that conversation with Matt Hasselbeck in about 45 minutes.
Takeaways.
All right, last one for me. I'll try to be quick so you can sneak in maybe your last one as well, Brady. You said Sam Darnold is a playmaker. Jackson Smith and Jigba is a playmaker. Watching DK Metcalf last night, and this is not a shot at DK whatsoever, and you would have said, and I think if you would have surveyed a lot of people and said, just from a pure football perspective, who would you rather have as your number one wide receiver going into this season? Who would you rather have? Take the money off the table, take everything off the table. Who would you rather have in the middle of your batting lineup, DK Metcalf or JSN?
You'd take the 6'4", 225-pound guy who runs a 4.3.
You would. And I think a lot of people would say that. He's the number one. He's the number one guy. He's a big body guy. He can run like the wind. He's unbelievably powerful. But you, again, watch that game last night, and you see the difference in JSN. DK is a blacksmith. JSN is an artist. Matt Hasselbeck was an artist. Your boy was a blacksmith. I know the difference between artists and blacksmiths. DK doesn't have that nuance, and it drives Aaron crazy. Well, everything drives Aaron crazy. But in particular, you could see him so frustrated. And this thing, if they lose and their schedule in Pittsburgh gets tough, you're going to see Aaron and DK butt heads. Because Aaron is used to Devontae Adams. Aaron is used to guys that are big and fast but have great nuance to their game. DK didn't have that, nor great hands. JSN does. JSN is truly turned into one of the elite playmakers, Brady, in all the NFL. And if you didn't see it coming with Sam, and that's understandable, right? Sam was away from us. We didn't really get to see much Sam Darnold. We got to see JSN for 2 years. And to see what he is doing in year 3, very reminiscent of what Cal Raleigh did in year 4, where you thought you knew Cal. And then all of a sudden he blew that ceiling away. JSN is doing the exact same thing at the wide receiver position for me.
Yeah, and when I watch him, Brock, it makes me think that there's something to be said about the difference between 40 speed and play speed. Because the 40 time, and I know he was coming off an injury when he ran it, but what was the reports were that was in the high, it was 4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
Which is certainly passable by NFL standards, but by no means does that make you a burner. You're nowhere near the
usually
4.
a mid-rounder.
Yeah, right. That's usually going to cost you, right?
Monroe St. Brown ran 4.65, and I think he fell to the middle rounds.
Yeah, I think he was a second or third round guy. But I think you're seeing the difference between what a guy runs in a 40 versus how fast he plays. And I think maybe this is something where the NFL is trying to maybe bridge that gap with some of the GPS stuff that, they're having the players wear the GPS. And I think John Schneider said over the offseason that those GPS times are becoming more important than the 40 times because that gives you a better sense of how fast a guy is going to run with pads and a helmet on. And I think you're seeing
in the Houston game, to your point, he was over 21 miles an hour, he being JSN, which was, at that point, the fastest that weekend. I mean, you get to 21 miles an hour in football gear running routes, you run by people, which is what he is absolutely doing over and over again this year. Well, that is a few slated takeaways. You've done that, I think, in the past on the old Brock and Salk show. You've also done...
Well, I thought you meant run 22 miles an hour? No, I've never done that.
No. They have these really fancy treadmills in NFL facilities. Have you seen those? Treadways, I think they're called, something like that.
The ones with the arched thing?
Yeah, they have an arch. Some of them are also flat, but they have much, much bigger. It's not just like one belt, because they get those puppies up to 20. Those go well over 20 miles an hour. And I remember watching Joey Galloway run over 20 miles an hour on that. And then I tried to get on there and see, well, let me just hold on and see. And once we got to like 15 miles per hour or 16 for your boy, it was like, nope. And then watch those guys, and you kind of hold on to it, and then you're supposed to let go, and just pump your arms like, no chance, no way, not this guy. But this guy does ask a little Blue 88. I'll do it right now.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88, powered by Xfinity.
We're going to go red, right, tight, close, sprint left, G, U corner, halfback, flat, on one. Ready?
Brock Heward tackles 3 football questions as only he can.
Blue 88.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Salky out again today. He will be back tomorrow. It was a heck of a run. We're kind of like the Mariners bullpen. We just had to just keep going. Even if the arm was hanging Brady, we had to just keep going and going and going through an unbelievable baseball playoff run. So he will certainly be back in the pilot seat. I'll try to manage for the next couple hours. Matt Hasselbeck will join us. That will be awesome in about 45 minutes. But question number 1 in Blue 88, speaking of baseball, if Edward Bizardo and Jorge Polanco were a couple of the most unsung Mariners over the course of the season and into the playoffs, who's a Seahawk or 2 that we didn't mention in takeaways, that maybe hasn't been mentioned enough this year, that's really been an unsung hero, either behind the scenes or doing the dirty work?
Eric Salbert, their number 3 tight end, a veteran guy who really has bounced around throughout it. I think he's been with 7 or 8 different teams in 8 or 9 different years. But I think he's found a home here. And you saw them made kind of a weird move with him during the bye where they released him and then brought him right back. That was purely procedural. I think the reasons for that will become clear. But safe to say that he is very much a big part of this organization's current, and I could see him being around for a while, even though he's I think just on a 1-year deal. But he's getting the job done. He's been exactly what they wanted him to be, a veteran guy in what is otherwise a very young tight end room. He's their number 3 tight end, but again, because this team is such a 2 tight end heavy offense, he's playing over 20 snaps a game, playing a bunch on special teams. And it sounds like he's just an A-plus locker room guy. So Eric Salbert, I can't imagine anyone has really sung his praises much, but he's a guy who I think has really, really impressed them behind the scenes. And then another one is a guy we've heard plenty about, but Gray Zabel. Your eyes just don't really go to the left or right guard on a given play. I guess maybe when you're in Seattle and
when you're blocking your own guy and tackling your running back, occasionally your right guard.
As big of a question mark as they have at right guard, I think left guard that looks like a spot that is going to be solidified for a long time. Gray Zabel currently leading the NFL in run block win rate among guards. Rookie first-round pick, Gray Zabel, top of the list there. So he's getting the job done. He's been more than passable in pass protection, and a guy who, you figure the arrow is just pointing up right now.
Yeah. And he enjoyed his Busch Lights, watching his Bison just kick the crap out of the Jackrabbits in South Dakota State over the weekend on Saturday. All right, question 2. Throw it my way, Brady.
All right, Brock, I posted earlier. You punted to Blue 88, so I will ask it now. What do you think of Damon Williams? Where's your head at with how he's playing? And I know he's maybe not in danger of going to the NFL anytime soon, but what do you think of his NFL prospects when the time comes?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. He is little, man. He's littler than Bryce Young. He's littler than Russell Wilson. Like, he is, when you see him in person, it's almost shocking how little he looks like a kind of what you've been accustomed to seeing a lot of little slot receivers look like. And he is slot receiver, quick and fast. Oh, my gosh. I mean, you want to talk about football speed. Maybe I'll text Jed Fish and ask him what the top speed he's hit this year. I'm going to imagine it might be the top speed of any Husky. Well over 20 miles an hour. He can absolutely dart and run. But he's more than that because he's got a very live arm. You watch him throw, and again, a little bit like Russell. When Russell threw, you did not see a 5'10 quarterback. You saw like a 6'3 just as far as velo goes, and the ball out of his hand, and like, man, he can rip it. He can throw it 70 yards. He can throw it, with a ton of velo. He can throw every throw there is. So then the next step is, with experience, can he do all that you've got to do to play the position at the next level and really play between the tackles? That's going to be the great challenge for him, just vision-wise and size-wise. Can you play first and foremost between the tackles and then do all of this crazy, amazing stuff and run stuff and extend the play stuff that he is capable of doing? So there's some work there. There's a learning curve to climb between the tackles. But you get a game like you did Saturday, you get a game like you did against Rutgers. You ask Greg Schiano and you ask Brett Bielema about Damon Williams. You know what they say? I never want to play that guy again. That guy just embarrassed us. It was over 500 yards versus Rutgers. It was, 400 yards of total offense Saturday. Just running and darting and making plays and extended plays and using his legs in the run game. So he's been awesome. And he's going to, as I said, get the next 3 games. They have a bye this week. Then it's Wisconsin, it's UCLA, and another game they're going to be favored in before the old Oregon Ducks run into town in late November. So plenty of opportunity for Damon ahead, and doing everything he should be doing as a true sophomore in his career right now. All right, Brady. We chat with him every Monday.
Mm-hmm.
We get to sit down with the coach. Salk gets to sit down in our little studio with Coach McDonald each and every Monday. I am curious from your perspective, what you've heard, what you've seen, what you've observed. Compare and contrast Mike McDonald year 1 to 7 weeks of Mike McDonald year 2.
Nothing has stood out in terms of McDonald, and this is probably the spirit of the question is, how has he grown? How is he evolving as a head coach? I don't really have any great observation for you in that sense, Brock, but one thing I have noticed is there is a noticeable difference in how he talks about his team this year. And I think what has become clear to me is how much he likes this team. You hear him constantly talk about that. I was watching the King 5 show with Paul Sylvie and our guy Mike Salk filling in for Walter Jones last night. Did a great job. Shout out to Mike. But Sylvie had a one-on-one interview with McDonald going into the bye, and he made that point again about how much he likes this team. You didn't really hear him talk in those terms as much last year, and I think where this gets interesting is what happens in a week or so from now, the NFL trade deadline. I think there's an opportunity to make some changes on this team, and the Reek Woolen trade speculation I think is not unfounded in the least bit. I think that is a real possibility, but I also don't think that this team is going to be in a big hurry to really shake up what is a locker room where I feel like they've got a good thing going. I feel like they think that they've got a good thing going chemistry-wise, and I don't know how eager they're going to be to shake that up and maybe bring somebody in from the outside that you don't know how that new ingredient is going to mix in with what is already a pretty good recipe.
Sheesh. That is Blue 88. Did you study the play sheet or something? I know you haven't been in here for 3 hours, co-hosting a show in a while, but did you study the call sheet that Maura had? See, she puts together this call sheet, kind of like a Clint Kubiak does with his first 15, especially when Salk is out and your boy tries to lead the show. It's like the backup comes in. I remember this, the day I had to practice in Indy. Whew, Tom Moore was a nervous wreck. He had to really build those calls up and get everything ready to go, because on the old little call sheet here, on the old game plan for today, look what Miss Mora had for 8 a.m. Do the Seahawks, what can the Seahawks do to still improve? Do they need to make a trade or two before the deadline next week? You just teased it, and
That's what we call a tease. Yep.
Look at you. You are so good. We'll dig into Brady Sound, some other experts around the country that believe there may be a move for these Seahawks. Does Brady think it'll happen? He'll answer that next, right here on Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Wyman and Bob.
It's going to take a bit for this team, I think, to get past this moment.
Every afternoon at 2.
You know, to be that close, and you were just steps away, and you came up short. Some of them sat in that dugout and watched the Jays out there celebrating, and they're going to use that as fuel.
You're never going to be happy unless you win the last game, right?
Yeah, but somebody's always going home disappointed, and hopefully it's the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that'll be easy to root for the Dodgers.
Plus, they've got my favorite non-Mariner, Mookie
Betts.
Betts.
Right, Mookie.
Love Mookie.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA World Cup here in Seattle. And our more than 95 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Carpoolers using the SR-167 Express toll lanes now need a Flex Pass set to HOV mode to ride free. That's a change. Having Good to Go always costs less than pay by mail. That is not a change. Learn more at goodtogo167.com.
Old windows cost you money and security. Lake Washington Windows and Doors installs energy-efficient, high-security windows that lower your bills and increase protection. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Choose LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done, with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hey, it's Kirk Herbstreit. On game day, great prep makes all the difference. Same goes for your pizza. That's why I go with Frigidaire Stone-Baked Pizza Oven. Fresh pizzas go from dough to done in just 2 minutes.
Whether you're throwing a party or squeezing in dinner between plays, this oven delivers hot, crispy, restaurant-quality pizza right from your kitchen. Only from Frigidaire. Game-ready pizza. Get it today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/sports. QUO.com/sports.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to do you a minute.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hello!
A little trade deadline seemed to impact the Seattle Mariners in pretty positive ways. I don't think they get to the precipice of the World Series without Mr. Naylor and Mr. Suarez and even Caleb Ferguson, a bunch of additions there, but Naylor spearheading that, really the tip of the spear, being a difference for those Mariners, Brady, in the final stretch for them and the final 60-some games into the playoffs. A little different in the NFL, though we have seen more activity, right? Old Bill Barnwell, like 10 years ago, would propose all these trades, and you love reading them, and you're like, yeah, never going to happen, never going to happen, never going to happen. But as the league has gotten a little bit younger, a general manager, a little more creative, teams realizing this is a way, draft, develop, and trade to boost our roster. Do you anticipate between now and the trade deadline, next Tuesday, I believe?
Yep.
Do you anticipate John Schneider and personnel department making a move?
I think there's a good chance, yeah. And I wish I could give you like a percentage. I don't feel really good about, saying that, yeah, I feel really confidently that they are going to make a move, because I think there is that balance of, yeah, there's spots on this roster that they could look to upgrade. And there's players on this roster that I think are pretty, decent trade chips. But I do wonder if they are going to kind of look at their roster and say, well, kind of like what, again, I mentioned it in Blue 88, but I think that they like what they've got going on chemistry-wise, and I do think that is going to be a consideration. But, let's just go through some of the positions where, they could certainly look to add.
Okay, before you do, because I know where you're going to go, let's add two national voices to this.
Sure.
Maura cut some sound from both Benjamin Solak and Chris Long. Chris Long is all over the Seahawks all the time. Both of those guys are going to go probably the direction you go, but let's just add their voice to the conversation. This was Benjamin Solak talking about, the Seahawks, to your point, are a playoff caliber team. Can they make a move? This was Bump and Stacy last week.
To me, this is clearly NFC playoff caliber team. And it starts with the defense and the fact that defense is going to be able to win them games against elite offenses, period. If the offense can keep up this heat, like I said, it's going to regress to some degree, but if it stays at a 80%, 90% of this level, then you've got a serious football team here. I don't want to be bringing Anthony Bradford in the current right guard situation into a January run. We saw what it looked like for Sam playing behind a beat-up Vikings line when they ran into the Rams in the playoffs last year, right? You're going to run into some good pass rushes. So I would still be willing to do it, even though there are issues with trading for an offensive lineman at the deadline, because it might bear fruit for me a couple months down the road.
Okay, and then Chris Long added to that, a little bit more concise, talking about the need, once again, on that offensive line.
So if the Seahawks want to take the next step, Sundell had a really rough game yesterday. You know, Bradford's been a little bit of a liability in pass pro. Like, you think about buyers at the deadline, maybe there's a situation where they're buying from the Cleveland Browns yard sale.
Right.
Brought that up last night. So Seattle, they got to feel like they're contenders.
You know what's easy to do in baseball?
Make a trade.
Yeah.
Plug and play.
What's even easier to do is go play. Write them in the lineup card. Because a first baseman is basically an independent contractor. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a punter or kicker, honestly, when it comes to baseball, as far as plays and signals and what you got to do and how much to learn. Like you go out there and you do your job. Hey, Eugenio, go play third base, right? I mean, it's really simple. You don't have to blend in continuity-wise with everybody around you. You trade for a right guard, which is the obvious, right? Anthony Bradford is the weakest link on this offensive line. You know, from a discipline, from a movement, from a consistency, all of it. He's the weakest link on this offensive line. Do you think they can make a trade for a right guard from Cleveland or Cincinnati or one of these other yard sales and just plug and play that guy in this system?
It's easier said than done for those reasons that you just mentioned. Is you know, maybe at other positions you could get a cornerback who could come in and you could get that guy up to speed. But so much of O-line play is not only learning the playbook, but learning the guys around you. And so that continuity is so important. And so, you know, that's why I have kind of always thought that if they were to make a change at right guard, it would be from within. It would be moving Sundell to right guard, putting Oluwatimi at center. So then you are making a change there, but you're not bringing anybody in from the outside. You're plugging in a guy who already knows the system, who has started for you right away, who might be limited talent-wise compared to some guys out there, but wouldn't have that learning curve that somebody from the outside would have. And when you say Browns, I think you're maybe talking about Wyatt Teller. It's an interesting name, talented player. I think one facet of that would be that Uchenna Nwosu and him might have some bad blood over a cut block in the preseason last year. So would that stop something from getting done if it was otherwise on the table? I don't know, but that would be something that would.
So on Friday, I used a little bit of a baseball analogy, talking about this trade market and really learning something from Salk over all of these years of listening to him. He doesn't really listen to me, but I try to listen to him as best I can. And in baseball terms, he talks about value, value, value. And my point was this, Brady. If Boye Mafe, if Rick Woolen, I don't know, Ken Walker, right? They're all impending free agents. If you're going to get any value back for them, and maybe it's only a fifth-round pick or a conditional pick or something like that, ideally it would be a player or a player and a pick or something of that nature. If you're not going to re-sign those guys because you've got to take care of Cross and JSN and Spoon, and those are your priorities, and it's unrealistic to think you're going to sign those three and any combination of two of three of Walker and Mafe and Woolen, and they're in their kind of free agent years, does it make some sense to get some value back from them over the next 7 days in the trade?
Yeah, if you feel like you've got enough on the roster to make up for that loss, or do you feel like you could get somebody to come in and replace that guy? The idea would be that, okay, if you let those guys walk in free agency, which I think with Woolen, I would fully expect that to happen, then you're not going to get a draft pick until, 2027, right? Because that's how the compensatory pick system works, is you get the draft pick a year after you let that guy walk in free agency. And at best case scenario, you're talking about a third round compensatory pick again, but that would be a year out, right? So the idea would be, can you get something now? I think if they were to trade either one of those guys, first and foremost, they would look to improve the team right now with the player who would help them right now. But to your point, if the alternative is not getting something for a while, it wouldn't shock me. I still think they'd be much better off just, either, with the case of Mafe, at least either hanging on to him or getting something that can help them right now. As deep as that edge group is, you can never have enough of those guys. Mafe he's in an interesting spot because he gets a lot of pressure. I mean, the pass rush win rate is among the top guys in terms of edge players. He just doesn't translate pressure and wins into sacks. And there's something to that.
And then again, lastly, just to put a cherry on top of this, the Mariners knew Eugenio Suarez. They knew the vibes that he would bring. I think playing against Naylor, they knew some of the edge that he would bring. Did they know that he would love Seattle and Seattle would love him the way it really transpired over the 2.5 months? Not necessarily. But what you talked about earlier is how much Mike loves this, really likes this group. I don't want to say loves. I mean, really, man, he's got a good thing going with everybody rowing, everybody on the same page. Do you want to risk some of that by making a move that, I don't know, the Trey Hendricksons, the big swings do feel at this point a little unrealistic to me, Brady, because I just, as good as the vibes as they've got going in that locker room, I don't know how you want to risk shaking that thing up.
Yeah, and when I say that, I'm not necessarily talking about being afraid to subtract from the group. I mean, being kind of reluctant to bring somebody in who you don't necessarily know how that guy is going to assimilate and how he's going to jive.
Be the right dude, right?
Yeah.
But then again, we just talked in Blue 88 or takeaways how good a job they did acquiring free agents and making those moves because they know what they're looking for and they know how it will fit. All in all, it will be rather fascinating. I do think when push comes to shove 8 days from now, I do think some move of some level will be made because I do think there's going to be some serious action in this league where you have buyers and sellers, maybe as defined and more defined than we've seen in a long, long time in the NFL. Matt Hasselbeck, for those of you that enjoy watching on YouTube and seeing video, he will join us right there on camera in 20 minutes after we give you everything you need to know right here. Brock and Salk. Brady Henderson sitting in for Salk on Seattle Sports.
It's the Hawks Player Spotlight.
Tight end A.J. Barner is with us. How are you, man?
Doing well. It's good to be on here.
Brought to you by Three Tree Roofing.
The rookie on this O-line, Gray Zabel, is with us.
Sam is an elite quarterback.
Going deep with a different Hawks player every day at 3:30 with Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports.
Every time he walks into the huddle, we know we got a chance for a big play.
Nick Eamon-Wari is with us.
I felt good physically going into the game.
Catch up on every Hawks Spotlight on Seattle Sports on YouTube and the Seattle Sports app.
Why is K2 Vision RLE a permanent solution to glasses, contacts, and readers? How is it that you'll never develop a cataract after K2 Vision RLE? And how is RLE different from LASIK?
Hey, it's Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. We'll answer those questions and others when you join us for our free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Andy, what are some of the other questions you hear?
Well, how long is the procedure and recovery? Or who's a good candidate for RLE?
And we'll also answer how much does RLE cost? Is there financing available? Does insurance pay for RLE?
Find out how K2 Vision RLE is the permanent solution to glasses, contacts, and readers.
And cataracts too.
Right, no more cataracts.
K2 Vision's free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Space will be limited, so register now at k2visionrle.com.
Join us at our free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Sign up at k2visionrle.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Seaport Airlines. If airport slowdowns and delays have you rethinking your trip, well, there's an easier way to fly. Seaport Airlines flies TSA free with service between Portland Business Aviation and Seattle's Boeing Field. No delays, no stress. Book today at flyseaportair.com.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The
The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
This is the home of the Seahawks.
Going to let one fly deep. Got a man out there. Ball is caught down at the 10-yard line, and it's JSN.
Seattle Sports.
Ryan Rowland-Smith here. For more than 35 years, the NBA Health Insurance Trust has been helping local builders, contractors, and their employees save money and gain peace of mind. They offer customized group health plans from the state's leading insurance providers. Small and mid-sized businesses deserve big healthcare access. The NBA Health Trust brings you the coverage you want at a price you can trust. Find out more at MBAHealthTrust.com. That's MBAHealthTrust.com.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
With football season comes colder weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here with Keith Dashafee from locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. So Keith, what's your next big play?
Well, Steve, right now get 40% off qualifying installs or no payments and no interest for 12 months on approved credit.
Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, everybody talks about winning the bye week. I remember that as a player, and the coaches, before they sent you off for the week, would say, be smart, make good decisions, get everybody back healthy, try to get a lather up a couple days by going out and running and doing your thing, and then the boys will get back to work today. Brady will be down there. Seahawks facility looks like they got a late kind of afternoon practice. We used to call this a bonus Monday. So you want to take care of your business, and then you get to watch everybody else. And you hope that, I don't know, maybe the team in your own division loses. And that's exactly what happened. Only one team played. Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks all on a bye. Kind of quirky, kind of weird. But the 49ers had to go play Houston down in Houston. Seahawks just battered those guys. What happened to the 49ers? Well, they got battered, and their head coach was asked whether or not, Brady loved this answer, whether or not this was a reality check.
Our reality is pretty realistic on what we deal with every week. So we knew we had a tough game versus Atlanta, and we felt we had a tough game today. So all those things, I mean, you guys can write about that stuff. But, yeah, it's definitely harder when you lose really good players. But we've had that situation throughout this year, and all I want us to do is play as good as we can play, and then you can deal with whatever. And today we didn't play as good as we could play.
Their reality is they got to be realistic.
It's pretty realistic, a reality. Yeah.
The Mac Jones is just a backup. That's the reality, too. That
Yeah.
guy he's a good backup quarterback. He's not a franchise quarterback. He doesn't have the body to do it. He can't sustain. He doesn't create and extend plays when it's on time and on target, and he can do both of those things. He's pretty good. But Houston got after him, sacked him a whole bunch, 26-15 in that win down in Houston, and he's a backup, and they got a lot of other backups playing. and you get too many backups playing, Brady, what's going to happen to you?
You're going to get exposed. And, I think that was the biggest takeaway for me in watching them yesterday was that some of those guys, I mean, they've done a really good job of getting by with the next men up. But when those next men up are trying to replace Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, you're going to get exposed eventually. And that was, they Houston took it to them despite the Texans coming off a short week. Remember, they played the Seahawks on Monday night. So, I think, again, I said it before, and I really feel like that was going to be, a month from now, you're going to look back and say, okay, that's when it really started to become a two-team race in the NFC West between Seattle and the Rams.
And those two sit atop the NFC West, just 2 losses. Seahawks will go to D.C. Again, another nice little scheduling quirk. Those Commanders got to play tonight. So they, too, will have a short week before they welcome the Seahawks to Sunday Night Football in the nation's capital.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
I have a sense that old Salky, when he comes back tomorrow, we're going to have a conversation about who you're rooting for in these World Series. And maybe we'll do it with a bunch of you on the text line as well. Do you have a rooting interest? Are you even watching it? Emotionally, can you bring yourself? Lyle, after taking a shower with his clothes on for an hour, could he actually watch baseball Friday and Saturday? He's got a very strong take. He wants the Dodgers to do their thing. That did not happen Friday. It was all Toronto on Friday. Grand slam from Addison Barger. They just hit the you-know-what out of the baseball. And then, Saturday, those Dodgers came back, and this guy, Yamamoto, he closed it out. This is what it sounded like.
He turns, he kicks, he fires. Swing and a ball popped up. This is going to do it. Left side, Muncy into the outfield. Makes the catch. And this ball game is over. Yoshinobu Yamamoto goes the distance, and the Dodgers win Game 2, 5-1. What a great piece of work from the right-hander out of Japan.
105 pitches to go 9 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 6 Ks. Yeah, they got a lot of damage they can do in their lineup, but that guy now in back-to-back outings, Brady, has thrown not just quality starts, but complete games. You don't ever see that in today's baseball, but the dude down in L.A. is getting it done.
Yeah, in the playoffs, I feel like you really don't see that. Playoffs? Yeah.
Playoffs?
Lyle, how rare is that for a guy to throw a complete game in the playoffs?
Playoffs?
I mean, first off, extremely rare. I don't know if back-to-back complete games in the postseason have ever happened. I don't think it has.
Well, how about that?
Pretty good, and they'll get back to it tonight down in Chavez Ravine for Game 3, a pretty big one with the Jays and Dodgers.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Third thing you need to know is the Kraken off to the best start in franchise history. An awesome win over the Oilers on Saturday night, so good for those boys on the ice. And then, Saturday afternoon, a little wind, a little rain, a little weather. The Huskies welcomed in a top 25 opponent in Illinois, who had only lost, by the way, to Ohio State and Indiana, the number 1 and 2 teams in the country. And the Huskies were just relentless. They're triumphant. They're 3 stars offensively, all put on a show. And Denzel Boston, his best day this season, 153 receiving yards, a touchdown. He threw a touchdown. Damon Williams, nearly 400 yards of total offense. It was 42-25. And Coach Fish knows, bowl eligibility is one thing, but it's also pretty darn nice to beat a top 25 ranked team in your house as well.
We are bowl eligible, and always a great feeling to be able to be eligible to play in the postseason. And then it's great to get a win against a top 25 team, who's a very good football team, who won 10 games last year, who's now sitting here at 5-3. And Coach Bielema does a fantastic job and always has. So really, really impressed with our team on how they played all 4 quarters.
But you know what's better than 5-3, 6-2. Still not ranked, but 6-2. And I've mentioned this a few different times. They'll have a bye themselves this week, and then they go to Wisconsin. Traditionally, historically, a really brutal place to play. Wisconsin, I think, has scored 1 touchdown in 5 games.
Ooh.
They are horrific on offense. And then you get Purdue at the bottom of the Big Ten in your house. Then you go down to the Rose Bowl and get to play in the sunshine at UCLA, who has been very up and down and got just slaughtered by Indiana over the weekend. And I think you'll be favored, realistically, in all 3 of those games. And a great chance to be 9-2 before the Oregon Ducks roll into Montlake. How about those apples?
Do you think speaking of playoffs, do you think playoffs are within reach for this UW team?
It will take some work around them, some help around them. They'll have to win all 3 of those games and then beat Oregon. And can you make a case if you beat Oregon and you beat Illinois and you handled your business and you're 10-2 in that conference? It will take a little bit of work, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. And certainly with all the recruits that were in the house on Saturday, and that's what this whole thing is, man, just kind of build, winning begets winning. Marketing begets marketing. I don't know if that makes any sense. Reality is realistic. We'll see how
real quickly, out. Brock, here's what else you need to know. Don't try to make a trip to U Village to exchange some pants during halftime of a UW football home game. Otherwise, you are asking for trouble, my friend.
Who would do that?
Who would do that? I don't know.
Who would do
Maybe
that?
Me.
Some sloth that slept all bye week and decided to wake up at halftime and go try to get that done. That is everything you need to know. Sam Darnold has got a little Matt Hasselbeck to him. You said in your takeaways in the first half of the season, you've been surprised at the playmaking we've seen from Sam Darnold. I think in the Super Bowl run that the Seahawks had in 2005, I think there were plenty of people surprised by Matt Hasselbeck's playmaking, his scrambling, his throwing on the run, his agility and athleticism that led to some big plays for the Seahawks. I can't wait to have this conversation because I do see some parallels between Sam and Matt. Both had to wait a little bit, and then when they got their opportunities, they feasted upon them. And he's doing it in Seattle the same way Matt did at a really high level. What does Hasselbeck see in Darnold? We'll have that conversation and so much more. Seahawk legend Matthew Hasselbeck joins the show next.
Sean Payton is a bully.
Bump and Stacy.
He went out, tried to bully Russell Wilson on the low.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
I don't care how you feel about Russell Wilson. I think that Sean Payton, he saw an opportunity to take shots at a guy that he felt like wasn't going to say anything back to him. I've heard that he's a decent guy, but in that moment, that was some bully activity right there. Russell, I'm proud of you. Clap back at him and called out some facts, too. So I'm proud of Russell in that moment.
Only on Seattle Sports on 710. Seattle Sports on YouTube and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, look, I know on a day like today, everybody's thinking about retirement, right? How do you just get out of doing work for the rest of your life and just want to sleep maybe or go travel or get out of here or whatever? Well, you can't just retire. You got to plan for it. And it actually takes a tremendous amount of thought. And I don't know that I fully understand how to do that. It's why you look for help. It's why you look for Trajan Wealth. And you can give them a call. Schedule a complimentary introductory meeting today at 206-466-3300. Did you know that leaving an old 401k with a previous employer could create a higher investment cost? Because if you got an old 401k, you're not sure what to do with it, it's a good reason to start with Trajan Wealth and just discuss how to optimize those funds, how to get that money working for you, how to save on taxes. That's kind of part of their whole philosophy. Low expenses, manage your tenure, and yes, tax efficiency as well. A couple key qualities that differentiate a Trajan Wealth portfolio. So call Trajan Wealth today. Schedule a complimentary meeting, 206-466-3300. Again, that's 206-466-3300, or go to TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor, paid advertisement.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafee, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. Just like our favorite baseball team, Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington is stepping up to the plate. Mention Go Seattle when you book, and you'll knock it out of the park with 15% off and 12 months, no payments, and no interest. Schedule today before this deal is gone.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
At Bible Law Group, we know how important voting is. That's why we're partnering with Seattle's own rock star Aaron Jones to rock the vote Thursday, October 30th at the Queen Anne Beer Hall. Vote and enjoy delicious smash burgers with Aaron and local bands by getting your ticket at bit.ly/BibleRock. If you've misplaced your ballot, don't panic. In Washington, you can still print a provisional ballot online and drop it in any official ballot box by November 4th. When prayer just ain't cutting it for your legal needs, we suggest two things: vote and call Bible Law Group.
Want more Seahawks content? Join me, G. Scott, on The Reset. New episodes of the podcast every Monday and Thursday on YouTube or on the Seattle Sports app.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
After years of wear and tear, Joe had osteoarthritis in his wrists and shoulders.
I've pretty much worked out my whole life. I actually decided I'm going to train for a half Ironman triathlon.
The pain was interfering with every part of his life.
Basically, can't sleep, causing those kind of problems, very limited movement.
Joe had surgery, but it wasn't the fix he was looking for.
The doctor told me, he's like, hey, this is just going to be a partial fix. You're going to eventually need joint replacement.
That's when he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
And they're just getting better. I can basically do full motion. I don't have really any pain.
What kinds of things are you able to do now that you weren't before?
I like to golf, and it definitely has made my golf game not as painful. And sleeping. I'm sleeping better because I don't have that aching at night going on and have to roll over.
So, are you recommending this to others?
Oh, everybody I talk to. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
This hour is brought to you by Trajan Wealth Management.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I've been looking forward to this all weekend long. I try to, this, Brady, maybe too much so. I just try to lay it all bare, be as transparent as I can. I'm not good at holding stuff close to the vest. So I'm going to just put it all out there before we get going here in full swing with Hasselbeck. I'm trying to broker a deal, Brady.
Okay.
Behind the scenes, trying to broker a deal between Valor Christian and Ensworth, playing a home and home, right? And Matt's a hard negotiation. Matt's wanting a lot of money for Ensworth to come play. And he's trying to sandbag me and say, I don't know if we can compete. And Matt, why don't we just get the deal done right now on the air? What do you think?
I wish I had that kind of authority. Brock, I'm only the offensive coordinator. I don't know your title. I think you're like tight ends coach or something like that. Yeah. So listen, my brother Tim is my boss. He's my little brother. He's the head coach.
All right.
But now listen, we're it's not a no, man. I just don't want it to. I know how competitive you are. Like I don't want anything to come between us in the relationship. I don't like. There's running clock here in Tennessee, so I don't know what it's like in Colorado, but if we have you guys up by too much, it's like that whole thing.
Is it 42 points in Tennessee? It's 42 here in Colorado. You get up by
it's
42.
It's like a sliding scale, I think. Like in the first half, it's this, and if it's Although I should know because someone had us on a running clock this year as well.
Oh,
so
that happens.
it went,
yes.
we had one of those. As Mike Holmgren would say, we played a stinker one Friday night. So
it happens. Well, the Seahawks have not had many stinkers, Matt, this year. They've gotten off to a good start, and Brady and I did kind of our first half takeaways as to why they've gotten off to a 5-2 start here, and even in both those games had every chance to win them and have been playing really, really well. Just before we dig into some of the cast of characters, just from your optics, you came out as one of the legends for these Seahawks. You've gotten to see them and watch them. I know you talk to Cowherd quite frequently about these Seahawks. From your perspective, why do you think they sit atop the NFC West at 5-2 right now?
Well, they've got a clear identity of who they're trying to be. And I think they, got off track a little bit week one. I think if you look at week one, it really was, I don't know if you call it a stinker, but like they let one slip away to the 49ers. Ever since that game, I feel like they've had a clear picture of who they're trying to be. And it's been awesome. I mean, Sam Darnold coming in, having the kind of year that he's having, I think a lot of people were saying, oh, this was a bad sign, like in the national scene. They're like, oh, they're remembering him from the Jets, or remembering him from early in his career. And they said, oh, it was a one-hit wonder and all this and all that. And he's gone out and shown that he's really an impressive quarterback. I think one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this year. So, like, I think that's a huge part of it. But defense has been great. Run game, when they don't forget about it, it's been great. And, off to a good start. Still competitive, but I think they've got a great schedule this year. And I really think this is a team to be excited about.
Hey, Matt, Brady Henderson here. Good to talk to you. One of the reasons why the Seahawks made that move with Darnold, in addition to obviously what you see on the field, is getting that guy in the locker room and that kind of leader. And I know that was a big part of the evaluation, is the kind of leader that Sam is. And one of the things that I've heard him described as is, in the locker room, he's just one of the guys. He's a dude. What does that mean to just be one of the guys, and why is that so important for a quarterback?
I just think it means he's humble. I don't know that that's always been said at the quarterback position on every team. Maybe that team too. I don't know. I wasn't in there, but humility is attractive, probably in any business, especially when you're getting paid as much as quarterbacks are getting paid these days. But really, like, if we think about it, Sam Darnold wasn't in the plans for the Seahawks. They were running it back with Geno Smith. I mean, that was the plan. And then things went a little south. Feelings got hurt in the contract negotiation. Maybe humility went away a little bit. Pete Carroll all of a sudden is the head coach in Las Vegas with the Raiders. And, hey, Geno, you're my guy. However that went down, it went down kind of it was a surprise. It was a surprise. All of a sudden, Geno's gone. DK Metcalf's gone. Lockett's gone. Like, it's a new OC. All this change. And then the Seahawks were saying, okay, hey, wait, now we need a quarterback. What are we going to do? We're going to do it in the draft. We're going to do it in free agency. Let's go out and get the top guy in free agency. And what I love about Sam Darnold is he's still a young player, but he's a guy with a ton of NFL experiences and a lot of sort of bad experiences that have sort of maybe humbled him a little bit, or maybe it's already his natural, disposition. But I think the locker room respects what he's gone through as a player. They respect that he got booed out of New York. They respect that he was, buried on the depth chart at other places. They respect how he's kind of like pulled himself out of the struggle. I think guys relate to that in the locker room. And then I think they really respect how well he's played. And he's played great. Last year he played great, and he's playing great this year.
You know who I think would have enjoyed coaching Sam Darnold? The guy you mentioned earlier, Mike Holmgren. Because he is a rhythm guy. Matt, watching every snap this year and so many of them under center, I can't help but chuckle at times, like, oh my gosh, that's what we were doing 25 years ago. Like, that was a hitch route thrown on third step from under center. That was a glance route. That was Dino thrown on time in that window. Like, when you watch Sam yourself, do you see some of Matt Hasselbeck in the Seahawks offense of the early 2000s?
Yeah, well, it's back in style. That's the funny thing. Like, even when we did it in Seattle, I think it went out of style and then came back in style, and now it's back in style again. We were popping guards. Like, we'd missed the trend. And so when people were coming with crazy third down blitzes on first and second down out of an odd front, meaning both guards are uncovered, like, we never stopped popping guards. Chris Gray and Hutch, like, they were just, we're still popping. We'll pop into the Mike, the Sam, and we'll pop to the free safety, the corner. Like, we'll just keep and so, like, the Seahawks have this great rhythm now where it's all this check with me stuff. We can be 2 tight ends. We can be in a fullback, but we're under center just as much as anybody right now. And I think a lot of the young defensive players in the league that have grown up in like the spread, going against spread offenses and stuff like that, they don't have time on task. They don't have hours defending and reading run game from under center with play actions and bloody nose flats and all the different things that we did, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. It's really coming on strong right now. And I think I give Mike Macdonald the credit because he had a vision for this. He had a vision for this when he retooled the offense, coaching staff and players, of what he wanted to be offensively and how it would complement the defense.
In a big picture, Matt, I want to stick with that topic of being under center, and I'll back up here just because at ESPN we have this great database where we can look up, under center versus shotgun percentages, and I can't tell you how many times last season Brock texts me and says, "Can you look up how often they've been under center?" And I don't think he liked the answer a lot because it was primarily a shotgun offense last season under Ryan Grubb. It's been flipped, and I'm curious, just from a quarterback's perspective, what really changes when you go under center for the quarterback, for the offense in general?
Well, they probably talk about it way too much on TV. Like they get all these stats. I got a feeling that a lot of people on TV, on the national scene, like they don't watch any football. They just read stats and they're like, "Oh, this is what I see." It's like, I don't think you're watching, like, if we're being real, okay? But no, as a quarterback, what is different? Because sometimes it's like you call the play and it's like, "You want to go gun?" Like, yeah, I'll go gun. Oh, no, I'll go under center. It's like a little thing. But the reason that Mike Holmgren would never let us go shotgun early on, unless we had to, it's because Joe Montana said something once, and he's absolutely right. When you're under center and the ball hits your hands and you have the ball immediately after it's snapped, your eyes are on the free safety or your eyes are on the defender that you need to have them on immediately. And it's usually the free safety. But your eyes are there immediately. But when you're in shotgun and you're catching the snap, your eyes have to drop just for a second to make sure you catch the snap. And also, if we're telling the truth here, not every center is great at snapping in shotgun. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's all over the place. There's a little bit of adventure, but either way, even if it's a perfect snap, your eyes have to drop down, and you're just a half second late seeing what the free safety or the corner or whatever they're doing. And so that is a real factor. But there's also a benefit because you're way back behind, you're way back, you're like 5 yards when you catch the ball. So it's a little bit of a, like, I don't know, like there's give and take. Also, like the back is typically offset right or left. There's tendencies with that. They can kind of decide what you're not going to do. But I like both. I like mixing it up. I just think that the teams that can't go under center and they're not good at going under center, I think you're just giving the defense less to worry about.
As I start to study and game plan for Ensworth, what am I going to see? Am I going to see under center? Am I going to see in the gun? What am I going to see?
You're going to see old school. You're going to see like Mike Shanahan, not Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan, Mike Holmgren, Jim Harbaugh. Like we're old school. I mean, we're pulling tackles, we're pulling guards, we're under center. We have 3 fullbacks, sometimes 2 fullbacks, 7 O linemen. We'll also go 4 wides. We'll go empty. I try to play everybody as much as we can. We try to give kids an opportunity to fail. And I do think just because I'm up in the booth and I hear how hard it is for these defensive coaches to say, like, what personnel is in the game. And, like defensive coaches, they talk about like 11 personnel or 12 personnel. Well, like what version of 12? Like which 2 tight ends, which 3 wides, which running back. And I do think like the Seahawks do a pretty good job of that too. I feel like everyone is involved in the game plan from Jake Bobo to Brady Russell to like everybody in between. They have a role. And again, I think that's makes you more difficult to defend. The defense has to spend time on stuff. And Mike Macdonald realizes that. And I think he's got his hands in this offense as well.
What do you take away from your time coming back with the 50 Legends and the weekend that was? Unfortunately, it was the Buccaneer game, and it was a great offensive game. If you liked offense, it was up and down the field, and Sam and Baker both over, 80% in that game, like never done in the history of the NFL. So it was a whole bunch of offense. But even more importantly, what was it like to be back around the guys in the organization that weekend?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, the Seahawks are a first-class organization. Not every team is like that. Not every team reaches back. I think it's great for the players, obviously, who played. It was great for us to be together. I was with guys that I played with when we were in the AFC West, guys like Chad Brown and Michael Sinclair, and like guys, I hadn't seen in forever. And then I was also with guys that I played with under Pete Carroll, like obviously Marshawn, but like, I guess it wasn't with Richard because of the lockout, but Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, like a lot of those guys, like Brandon Meebane. It was awesome. It was incredible. And to like have it, the fan reaction was incredible. The blue carpet, all of it. It was just really, it makes you really proud to be part of the organization. It's a huge honor to have worn that uniform and all those different uniforms, even the green ones that we wore that one time that people didn't like. It's a huge honor. So it was really cool. And I think even just seeing in person, like what they're building there in practice, it was so different from the Mike Holmgren years, and yet very similar. And it was so different than the Pete Carroll years, and yet very similar. And so I think that just showing like, Mike McDonald is his own head coach and he's doing it sort of his own way. And I think it's really authentic and great.
Does Jackson Smith and Jigba remind you of any receiver that you played with, whether it was here in Seattle, Green Bay, anywhere else?
I want to throw names out to you, but like, he's so stinking good. Like, I don't know if it's fair to him to do that. I mean, when you even just look at like Sam Darnold's touchdown reel, it's like, oh, there's JSN. Oh, there's JSN. Like, did the defense not know it was going to happen? Like, who else are you like really targeting is like the guy that, hey, here's the guy we got to take away today. Defensive coordinators usually call it like, where's Waldo? Where's Waldo? Like, remember those books? You had to find Waldo. He's like the one guy you got to find every play. And they move him around. So, like, he's the focal point. And yet here he is running the post. Here he is running a Dino. Here he is. Like, he's still getting open. And so, like, everyone talks about chemistry and new quarterback. And, like, they're not skipping a beat. He's a beast. He doesn't look like he should be, but he is. And so, I'm a fan. I mean, I don't know how you can't be, but is he top 3 in the NFL? Yeah, maybe he might be. Like he really is that good. Has been that good.
I just got to ask real quick. Sorry, Brock. Dino. I know Dino's Pub across the highway from the VMAC. What's a Dino route?
The Dino route is almost as good as Dino's Pub. It's almost it's right up there. But it's a post corner post. And like the guys who run it the best, they don't even run it like a post corner post. Like they put their own spin on it. Like for me, Darrell Jackson was that guy. JSN, he'll just kind of like spray release, widen it out, and then he'll just give him a little like a little subtle crossover dribble. But you can see the corner just loses his balance. He's like right there, but he can't make the play. It's just like this little subtle thing. And the quarterback, when you trust that he's going to win his matchup on the corner, all you're doing is worried about the safety in your eyes, and you just cut it loose. And it's cool to see. It's like a throwback play, right, Brock? Like no one runs it anymore. Not really. Nope. So it's cool to see them run it.
I got to watch you and Bobby Ingram, and you guys seem to build a chemistry so quickly, Matt. And there is some of JSN's game that is Bobby. Strong, low to the ground, unbelievable, just spatial awareness and feel. And then he's got what Bobby, I don't think, had, and that's 21, 22 miles an hour in his bag as well to like legitimately run by people. So from your life experience, whether it was Bobby or others, how did you develop that chemistry that quickly?
It's a weird thing. Like some guys are just so easy to read, and like my favorite guy might not be somebody else's favorite guy. Like it's just a weird thing. But you just sometimes have a connection with somebody, and you understand what they're thinking, what you're thinking, and I don't know. I think the word for me is decisive. I just feel like he's very, very decisive. JSN, like what he's not gonna do, and sometimes knowing what he's not gonna do helps you know what he probably is gonna do. And he's got he's got that like that feel and that angry and that like aggressiveness of like a Doug Baldwin. He also has that top end, like deep shot stuff of like a Tyler Lockett in his younger years or other guys. And it's just, I don't know. It's like, I think he's still underrated if that's even possible, but people are sleeping on him. We're not all the way through the year, but like, if you kind of project out how this thing might go, he's going to have an incredible year.
And Matt, I want to ask you more about Sam Darnold and just Sam Darnold on the field and what you're seeing there. And, one of the things when Brock and I were talking about our takeaways, one of mine was just how much of a playmaker Darnold is. And you see him, avoiding sacks and getting the ball out quickly, but you also see him escaping and creating big plays on the run. Just what have you thought about his game overall and just that playmaking aspect in specifically?
Yeah, well, I always thought that an underrated part of his game was like his legs. Like he's really mobile. I mean, I thought that coming out of college, like you don't think of him that way, but he's really great that way. That didn't surprise me. I think the thing that's been really encouraging is how well he's protected the football this year. He's got 4 interceptions on the year. this one bad one last week, but 2 I think against Pittsburgh, and then the one I think at the end of the Tampa game. Other than that, he's been great. Like he's been protecting the football, protecting the team, protecting the ball, and still with this like cut it loose mentality. Like he's not like little check down Charlie. Like he's cutting it loose when the ball's there. And he's like, hey, if it's there, I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to spread the ball around. I think that's been great. And when you're coming in, when you're trying to learn all the new people, you're brand new to the team, you got a new play caller, you haven't really, been through the fire together the way that they're going through it now. I think that's the big unknown. And I think to me, that's probably the thing that he's been great. Other people are going to like, oh, Justin Herbert's throwing for all these yards and all this stuff. Yeah, he's throwing interceptions though. Like that's a very important part of the game. And I think like the last piece is just like really protecting the ball in the pocket. That's like the next level of really taking your game to kind of like an MVP type level.
Mm-hmm. Hey, last thing for me here, Matt, just expound a little bit, if you wouldn't mind, on what you said earlier of when you're around that facility and you've been around there a bit, you're around there draft time, you're around there a little OTA time, you're around there for the Legends weekends. When you said Mike Macdonald's a little bit of Mike Holmgren, but he's his own guy. He's a little bit of Pete Carroll, but he's his own guy. Expound on that, if you wouldn't mind, just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. Like he's young. He's very young. He's very humble. It's almost like, hey guys, like I don't deserve to be your head coach. Like what should our slogan be? I don't deserve to pick it. Like it's your team. It's not my team. This is your team. Who am I? Like what have I ever done? Look at my resume. What was I doing 5 years ago? You guys are the stars. What should we be about? Like what's our mission here? Like what are we here for? Are we here to collect? Are you here to collect a check? Or are you here to do something special? And then he gives them ownership of it. And like the best teams that I was ever on were the teams where the players cared more than the coaches. And they had more skin in the game. And the coaches care all the way. These guys sleep in their office. I mean, they really care. But like when the players are all in, and he does a great job of that, even in the Tampa game. He was the first one to stand up in a really authentic way. Like, hey, swing and a miss on that defensive game plan. That was on me. Yeah, I'll be better. That's my bad. Okay. Now there's some technique things you guys can work on, but like if we're giving blame, put it on me. That was my fault. Okay. I just think there's a humility and a respect there. But when you talk about schedule and like that stuff, it's like very Holmgren-esque. Players and families at mock game. I mean, Brock, you remember what Holmgren was like on a mock game. Like you were so afraid to make a mistake on a Saturday. Like Sundays were easy because Saturdays were like Dilfer, when he would practice on Saturdays, was like, stressed out of his mind to throw an incompletion. And like, that was the atmosphere. You go to a Mike Macdonald Saturday mock game, the families are there, his dog's running around the field, like kids are running around the field. It's just so different. Very much like Pete, but I don't know. It was like a lot of, it was cool. It was different, but I just think like with any head coach, the authenticity is a really important piece. Like I'm not trying to be some other person. I'm just me. And if you get to know me, you know what I care about, what's important to me, what I'm hanging my hat on. And when you get in those gray areas as a player, like you say, okay, what should I do right now? And like, boom, Mike Macdonald, what's he care about? He cares about the mission. What's the mission? The mission is like what our goals are. Like, that's it. If anything gets in the way of that, like it's out. I'm all in. And I just think it's nice as a player when you have a coach that's really clear of who he is. And I think that's what Mike is as a young coach too. And he's learning on the fly and he's doing a great job.
And Matt, last one for me. I think Brian Nemhauser, the Hawk blogger, asked you this a while back, and I thought it was a great question. But how do you know when you're good as a player on a team? How do you know when your team is really like has a chance to do something?
Yeah, I don't think you need to know. Like the year we went to the Super Bowl, like we had no idea that was the year. Like we had no idea that we were going to be the 1 seed. We were going to rest our starters in the last week of the season. Like we had no idea. Like week 1, we even get spanked. We go down to Jacksonville and just get like run out of town. We didn't know, but you don't need to know. Like let other people know. Our offensive coordinator in the Holmgren years was Gil Haskell. He wasn't like real hands-on, but he was great at this like 35,000 foot view of our team. And he'd come back after a win on the plane and like grab your arm and he'd be like, hey, we're going to be all right this year. We're going to be all right. And give you like a wink. And like, it was like his job to know, or somebody like that's job. Like leave that to like a Leslie Frazier or somebody like that. Like if you're a player, you're just all in the work. You just focus on that one play at a time. The score of the season will take care of itself, kind of a mindset. And there's some things like, I feel like I'm a little bit of a 35,000 foot viewer of this team. seeing what Sam Darnold's doing at the line of scrimmage with the check with me system, audibling versus blitz, making it look easy, making it look routine. Like this is a team that has a chance to do something really, really special this year. But again, it's a one game at a time. And then when you get the chance to win those huge games this year, Rams game, Colts game, Niners, you'll get another shot. You got to do it. Like you got to make those plays at the moment of truth. And you can't come home with like a woulda, coulda, shoulda. You got to do it.
So good. We could do this for hours and hours and hours. Two quick things on Gil Haskell. Do you remember his dress shoes or his white golf shoes?
Yeah. Hey, you got to break in the golf shoes, Brock, Yes. Plus as a coach, sometimes you're like indoor, outdoor. You're on the grass, you're in the hotel. You got to go with your nice outfit, can go with the coaching.
And were you there when he talked about the keyboard? He taught keyboard or typing?
I did. I was, yeah. My favorite thing from Gil Haskell, though, and I've used it, sometimes you want energy at practice, right? You want to, so a little enthusiasm. But the other rule is once the quarterback steps in the huddle, no one's allowed to talk.
Right. So
Gil was sort of had this famous back to back. He'd be like, "Hey, a little enthusiasm, shut up! A little enthusiasm, shut up!" Kind of reminds me of that Stephen Wright thing. I named my dog Stay. Come here, Stay. Come here, Stay.
Matthew, you're the best, man. Textoy loves you. We all love you. Thank you for the great insight, brother. And Montgomery Bell this weekend, is that who we got to wrap it up?
Ooh, NBA rivalry game, Halloween, October 31st, 7 p.m. Are you going to trick or treat? You're going to come to the game? We'll see. This is a good one for us.
Go get it. Matthew, thank you. Appreciate you, brother.
All right. See you guys.
There he goes, Matthew Hasselbeck. I had something planned, but, when you get a really great guest and this, Brady, and you do the same in your little notepad and you write notes, I just kept writing a bunch of notes. So we're going to have to respond to a couple of things he said right there before everything you need to know around the NFL. The show absolutely flying by. It's Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Wyman and Bob.
It's going to take a bit for this team, I think, to get past this moment.
Every afternoon at 2.
To be that close. You were just steps away, and you came up short. Some of them sat in that dugout and watched the Jays out there celebrating, and they're going to use that as fuel.
You're never going to be happy unless you win the last game, right?
Yeah, but somebody's always going home disappointed, and hopefully it's the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that'll be easy to root for the Dodgers.
Plus, they've got my favorite non-Mariner, Mookie
Betts. That's right, Mookie.
Love Mookie.
Only on Seattle Sports and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Your time is money, so why are you wasting it stuck in I-5 gridlock, TSA slowdowns, and SeaTac crowds? Isn't it time to travel smarter? Seaport Airlines offers high-frequency commuter shuttle service from Seattle's Boeing Field to Portland. Park for free next to our terminals. Check in 20 minutes before your departure. Get there faster without the hassles. Seaport Airlines. It's about time. Book today at flyseaportair.com.
Lowe's knows pros want more. Join My Lowe's Pro Rewards for free to get $20 off your first qualifying purchase of $100 or more just for signing up. Plus, enjoy free standard shipping and more ways to save on your next job. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer valid for new members only. Not valid with any other discount. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowe's.com/pro loyalty for details. Subject to change.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/sports. QUO.com/sports.
Guys, tired all the time, gaining weight, low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. Right now, Revive Men's Health Washington is making it easier to get answers with a comprehensive wellness panel. It's not just a lab test, it's where better performance begins. Our providers will check your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. A $400 value for just $99, or free if you start treatment. Over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to restore their energy, mood, and confidence. So if you're ready to feel better and live stronger, call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Offer ends November 30th. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact us for full offer details.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get his freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Legitimately, I think I could sit for 3 hours and talk ball with Matt. Especially now that we're both getting to do the coaching thing, and he's a play caller and working with his brother, and just kind of all the lessons you learn trying to grow and develop young people and players, and on top of all the NFL stuff and just football 101 stuff. Brady, I think it'd be fascinating to see how long, and then throw Dilfer into the mix. It'd probably be a 6 or 7 or 8 hour foray to just talk a whole bunch of football. He's about as easy a guy that there is, and he's great, and he's insightful, and there's great depth to it. I know that I wrote down 3 or 4 things. I'm curious, Brady, if there was a point or two that really jumped out from that conversation with Matt.
Well, I thought the shotgun stuff was fascinating. It never occurred to me that would actually be a factor. And he said that that's a very real thing, is that split second that it takes for you as a quarterback to take your eyes off of the secondary to actually catch the ball. That never would have occurred to me, but that's what you get when you ask quarterback football questions. You get great answers like that.
Yeah, and you feel the football in your hands right away, and your eyes do go to where they need to go, and you don't have to worry about that snap. And then there's so much more timing and rhythm that you get out of playing under center. And there's some guys that love it. And I think for Sam Darnold, it's obvious he grew up doing some of that, right? He did some of that at USC. He obviously played in the gun a bunch too, but it's like playing an instrument, right? Did you ever play an instrument growing up? Or
I play guitar, yeah.
You played guitar growing up?
I learned in college.
Oh, so you didn't in elementary or junior high or high school have to
No,
play
I
an
mean,
instrument?
we did the recorder in the music class.
That's
Hot
it.
cross buns.
Yes. Oh, hot cross buns. Yeah, we had to, I think, pick either choir, and your boy can't sing, or band in junior high, even at Aylen Junior High. Like, it was a mandatory, you've got to do one or the other. So I remember trying to grab a trumpet for the first time.
Huh.
And there's a reason that the opposing fans in high school would chant Howard the Duck, because I had very pronounced lips. Like women pay a lot of money now to inject stuff into their lips to have the lips that I had in high school. And I remember this was actually junior high. I remember trying to play the trumpet, and this big, it just didn't like, I mean, it didn't work. So, and I didn't really want to go to the tuba. So I went to the old trombone right in between and had to find the instrument that worked for me. But there is a timing to it. There is a precision to it. And there is no question that the instrument of playing under center has been awesome. Awesome for Sam and awesome for this offense. I'm going to pull another Hewardism 101 for you here, Brady. And that is when somebody repeats themselves 2 or 3 or 4 times, when a coach does that, I know that it resonates. I know that's a point of emphasis.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hasselbeck, 4 times mentioned the word humility.
Yeah.
Humility. He did it with Sam. He did it with McDonald. Do you feel in that building, as you're around Mike, as you're around Sam, as you're around John, as you're around those guys, is humility a word that comes top of your mind?
Yeah, I would say, with McDonald, I've wondered if that is kind of part of some of the reluctance to publicly criticize players. I'm certain that I've seen him do it kind of off camera. I've seen him lay into guys in ways that I never saw Pete Carroll do, in 14 years as the head coach or whatever it was. So, but I think when it comes to talking about guys publicly, I think that there is maybe some of that reluctance to really call guys out publicly is maybe rooted in humility. And, look, he didn't play in the NFL, and I think there's maybe something to that of, I'm not gonna air a guy out in public, a guy who's out there doing it, landing on the line and stuff like that. And I wonder if some of that is rooted in humility.
Mm-hmm. And then Matt did talk about, he didn't say the word care factor, but it is certainly top of my mind as I watch these teams and around it. And you heard him say very specifically what the best teams that he's ever been a part of are teams that the players care as much as the coaches. And I think the average fan would say, what? I mean, every team does, right? I mean, guys, you're professionals. You make all this money. You have pride. You have ego. All the guys care. I mean, what is that a real thing? No, it's a very real thing. It's a very real thing. I would echo that. The greatest team that I ever played on in my professional years was certainly my last year in Indianapolis in 2003. And that was a team with Peyton and Edge and Marvin and Reggie and, Hall of Famers, Dwight Freeney, Hall of Famer, like great players. But man, the care factor and the attention to detail, and like it was their team. Tony, in much the same way, super humble guy, even with all of his achievements, he really put it on the team. And those guys cared as much as Tom, as Tony, as Howard Mudd, as any of them, maybe even more than some of the defensive coaches at times. Like that was a high care factor team. And when you said, Brady, in your takeaways or very early in the show, it feels like Mike McDonald really likes this team. I think that's what you're speaking to. Mm-hmm. He likes the fact that MOB was a team-driven thing. That wasn't a Mike McDonald thing. That wasn't some acronym that John Schneider and Trent Kirchner and, Jody Allen on a business trip and in a vision casting thought, you know what, let's go MOB this year.
Wasn't a focus group that came up with that one?
No, wasn't any of that. No, it was those players. Have you heard much of that behind the scenes, that MOB kind of slogan that Mike shared with us last week?
No, I think the first time I saw it was the video that the Seahawks social media team put out of his post-game speech.
Yeah.
After that Monday night game, that was the first time I'd heard of
the
it.
Mob ties,
I believe. Yeah.
The mob ties, right? The mission over BS, and the fact that was totally locker room driven and player driven, I think is what Matt is speaking to there. And if it's the coach doing the talking, if it is, the leadership crew, that's going to throw a hammer down and like this, our acronym, this is what we are, versus, no, man, this is organic. and this comes from the Jarens and the Leonards and the voices and the guys on this team. Like, we're going to be about mission, not over all this other crap. And I think all that other crap at times last year was a part of the season.
Yeah, and I was just going to ask you, what do you think that BS was? That there is the absence of that. That's what they're talking about right now. But is that the DK Metcalf kind of losing his head?
Yeah.
Is it stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it's Jaren Reed screaming at Derek Hall last year on multiple occasions, like grow your butt up, man. Don't make it about you. Don't do these stupid things about you. Don't make it about you, DK, and get on the headset and scream at Ryan Grubb to give me the ball and throw me the ball. Like, Gino, don't pout and don't scream at the fans and don't be, I think it's all that crap, all that distraction, all that noise that you don't just write off and say, oh, they're trying hard. Oh, they want it so bad. Oh, it's, they're allowed to be. No, teams on a mission don't do that stuff, because they don't make it about themselves. They make it about the whole crew, and they know the whole crew is so much more important than any individual. That makes sense?
Yeah, totally. What about just the guy factor with Darnold? I obviously I don't know nearly as much about that stuff as you, but when I hear John Schneider describe him as just one of the guys, I think I know what he's talking about, because you see Darnold in there, and he doesn't spend a ton of time in the locker room, at least when we're in there during open locker room. But when he is in there, he's just kind of floating around, just
a real dude that can talk to the D linemen and the O linemen and the corners and the receivers and the running backs, right? Can just kind of hang with everybody. I think SC probably helped part of that, right? It was a pretty wild and crazy crew coming off the Pete Carroll years there, and just, growing up there and hanging with everybody and being comfortable in your skin with everybody. And then, like Matt said, man, just being humble. Like, I'm no bigger and better. I'm making $35 million, and I know that the quarterback's the center point of so much conversation, but he makes it about others. He sprays it on everybody else, doesn't make it about himself, and that's been refreshing, because I think over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years in Seattle, that was not always the case at that position. It became a little more about them than it really did just about everybody else. So, great conversation with Mr. Hasselbeck. I'm gonna bet that old Salky was listening to a little bit of that, or we'll certainly listen to it at 6:30 when we play it, and we'll dig into even more of that. Everything you need to know coming your way next. Then we spin around an exciting NFL weekend and what it meant to the Seahawks, and so much more, as the Hitman is in for Salk. It's Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
4 Down Territory. Michael Bumpus answers the top 4 football questions of the day.
What have the first 7 games of the season shown you about the Seahawks?
They're low-key deep. I mean, you got Ty Okada out there making plays.
Breakup.
You have Drake Thomas starting now. You got Josh Jobe, who was starting tackles yesterday. Nick Imawari, who's finding himself. Because guys have been hurt, guys have been able to play.
Catch every 4 Down Territory on the Seattle Sports app.
Yeah, speaking of being hurt, Brock Ewart here. I've had a couple injuries. I was telling you about a dislocated ankle back in the day and know a little bit about pain, but you don't have to be a former pro football player to know what I'm talking about. I know that some of you that hear my voice right now, you woke up this morning and you've got incredibly painful joints from arthritis or tendonitis or maybe previous injuries, and it affects you. It makes it hard to do pretty much anything. Well, that is where my friend, Dr. Daniel Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine right over there in Kirkland, that's where he's ready for your call. 425-823-4000. 425-823-4000. Dr. Nelson has seen so many of you that just live a life in pain, and it affects your quality of life, and he's got solutions. He's the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques. Many have jumped aboard the regenerative medicine train lately, not Dr. Nelson. This has been his passion. This has been his heart for well over 3 decades. It's why his tool bag is deeper than others, including stem cell therapy and PRP, along with many other tools to help you rid yourself of your pain. So if you're living in pain, give Dr. Nelson a call, 425-823-4000, or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now the company's changed, or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-466-3300. That's 206-466-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Ryan Rowland-Smith here. For more than 35 years, the NBA Health Insurance Trust has been helping local builders, contractors, and their employees save money and gain peace of mind. They offer customized group health plans from the state's leading insurance providers. Small and mid-sized businesses deserve big healthcare access. The NBA Health Trust brings you the coverage you want at a price you can trust. Find out more at MBAHealthTrust.com. That's MBAHealthTrust.com.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Touchdown! Seahawks! Ken Walker III!
Get everything Seahawks at seattlesports.com.
Dino was suffering from a rotator cuff tear in his right shoulder.
Part of the pain is like taking off my shirt. I couldn't even really button my pants. I could actually qualify for a shoulder replacement if I wanted to go that route.
He chose to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I heard the commercials for Dr. Wagner. I did my research. I thought about surgery, but the recovery time was so long, I didn't want to have to be in a sling. I want to be able to retire in a few months, get back to bike riding and playing golf without anything in my shoulder.
Dino knew from experience that stem cell therapy works. Dr. Wagner had already helped him recover from osteoarthritis in his thumb, but he's not done yet.
And now 2 years later, I'm having an issue with my left shoulder, so I've got it scheduled, and I'm going to go back to see Dr. Wagner again because it was so successful.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
It's game time, and Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota Renton are lining up with a roster that's built to dominate the field. The gas-powered RAV4, built to power through every drive, rain or shine. Or switch up the play with the hybrid RAV4, versatile, efficient, and always moving the chains. The Tacoma, tough, dependable, and clutch when it counts. And now, taking the field, the all-new 2026 Toyota Tundra, redesigned, powerful, and built for the big moments. Whether you're in the north or the south, Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton have your winning ride. Visit toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, the first thing you need to know is probably what you already know at this point after watching the rest of the NFL get to action over the weekend. The Seahawks, their one lone bye week of the season. And, well, heading into it, the great Brady Henderson tweeted out, coming off the bye at practice today, which is what, 2:45 or so today?
Yeah, 2:50.
And 2:50, and we'll hear from Mr. McDonald afterwards. And it's a bonus Monday. They don't have to put any injury designation today, though, right?
Correct.
So they probably won't. We won't get to hear about that, but I'm sure Mike will be asked. Julian Love and Devin Witherspoon and Derek Hall and Oots and Christian Haynes and all the guys that have been out. Is it your understanding, Brady, that most of those guys should be back on the practice field, if not all of them today?
Well, we heard Mike McDonald say going into the bye week that they did expect to get Julian Love, Devin Witherspoon, and Derek Hall back, and I believe he said it sounded like Robbie Utes was on his way back as well. So whether or not every single one of those guys practices today, we'll see. I imagine you will see the three of those guys I previously mentioned, Witherspoon, Love, and Derek Hall practice, just because Witherspoon and Love had been practicing. They just hadn't been playing, and I think Derek Hall, I imagine you'll see him out there too. But yeah, we won't get an injury report until Wednesday, so all we'll get to see is the first 5-10 minutes of practice when those guys are running back and forth and stretching. But the bottom line is they are expecting to get those guys back, and they've done a very good job of holding up despite missing a lot of firepower on their defense for the first 7 games.
Navigating all of it, right? Yeah. Navigating, hey, this guy's limited. He could go, but man, if we give that hamstring of Julian Love a couple more weeks off to really get back so we can all hit the ground running in the second half of the season. And when they do, when they practice today, they will be practicing along with the LA Rams atop the NFC West. Why? Because San Fran went down to Houston and got beat up pretty good. Lost a few more guys in that game along with all the other injuries. Mac Jones took a beating. 26-15 was the final. And if you're interested in the Seahawks opponent Sunday night in D.C., Dan Quinn's Commanders, Bobby Wagner still there. So good a year ago to the NFC title game. Off to a rough start today, and they will play tonight against the Chiefs, and then a short week before they will welcome in the Seahawks on Sunday.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Hey, Lyle? You there, Lyle? Were you able to watch Friday and Saturday? Were you able to watch Game 1 and Game 2 of the World Series?
Not easily, but I watched.
You did?
Yeah, I watched.
And you rooted for, remind me again, the Dodgers?
Yeah. I'm rooting for them to win in as few games as possible.
Because
it's way easier to swallow if they win, if you're a Mariners fan. Just saying you weren't going to hang with those guys.
Gotcha. So Friday night was no fun. When Addison Barger did this in that really, really explosive inning for the Blue Jays, Lyle was not enjoying this at all.
Well, Barger has been a big part of this team's success, and he's got monster power. The pitch. Swing, a high fly ball out towards right center field, on its way. It's a grand slam. Addison Barger, and the Blue Jays have blown it open. 9-2. Wow.
Yeah, they added a couple more, 11 runs, all sorts of hits. They made the Dodgers and Snell and that bullpen look silly. And then, well, the next day, Saturday, Mr. Yamamoto said, not so fast, my friend. Another complete game. Unbelievable. Back-to-back starts in the division series, the championship series, and all that guy done is thrown 9 innings of complete game. In this case, just 1 run by the Blue Jays. Series tied at 1. They will play in Chavez Ravine, Game 3 tonight.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Third thing you need to know, we'll do a little split here, need to know. The Kraken just continue to get off to the best start in franchise history. It's not been many years, but it's been a few. And nice to see them get a great win, really, over the Oilers on Saturday. Some clutch play in a one-goal contest there, and they end up on the right side of that. Not so close at Husky Stadium. UW picked off the Illini a couple times in the second half, distanced himself with a 42-25 win, and their stars, and they've got 3 of them offensively. The young freshman that's pretty good, too, receiver. But their 3 stars are Jonah Coleman, Damon Williams, and then this guy put on quite a show.
Williams to pass. Williams going to tuck it and now throw it. Inbounds. Touchdown. Denzel Boston, Mr. TD.
Yep, 42-25. The Huskies go to 6-2. They get a bye week. I mentioned it 3 times already, but it will be at Madison against Wisconsin, off of the bye. Then Purdue at home, who really struggles, and at UCLA before they welcome the Ducks. That schedule for the games that everybody remembers. You know the slogan, Brady, the games you remember are played in November. And then in college football, December and late January. It's a real long season. But the Huskies get it done. A big time win over the ranked Illini.
Is that a nightmare for a quarterback trying to play in that kind of weather that we had here really over the weekend, the last few days. I mean, how difficult is that when the wind is howling, it's wet, all that?
Advantage home team, right? Advantage a team that actually practices in it, you play in it, you get used to it. It's not that big a deal. It's easier at the college level. And certainly much easier at the NFL level, because you'll have, in a weather game like that in the NFL, I think they go through 40 or 45 footballs, Brady. In the high school game, you get a couple balls waterlogged, and it pretty much sucks. Yeah, so high school's a little bit harder, college a little bit easier. But, yeah, you felt like I felt like watching it, just body language and everything. The Huskies were like, let's go. I mean, we play in this. We practiced in it during the week. Grip it and rip it and get it done. And for Denzel Boston, the Emerald Ridge kid down out of Puyallup, he's played in his whole life as well. And, man, what a good quality win. Doesn't get him into the top 25, but as I said, kind of builds some momentum here for a really favorable home stretch of the schedule to wrap up this year. That is everything you need to know. A lot of NFL football this weekend, Brady. A lot of sound, a lot of stuff. The NFL, I think this weekend of any of them was kind of a reminder of, just when you think this is a yard sale, this is a dumpster fire, this guy's fired, they'll sell off all their pieces. All of a sudden, Tua throws, 3 or 4 touchdowns, looks really good. All of a sudden, Atlanta, a couple weeks ago beat the Bills. They're going to be really good. And QB is hurt. Kirk Cousins can't do anything. They can't stop anybody. And they get beat. Like, you never know.
Justin Fields taking arrows from the owner.
Oh,
we got to talk more about that.
We will. And Maura, of course, being the sound hound she has got all sorts of sound from all of these different stories all across the NFL. We'll wrap the show up spinning it around the NFL as Brady is in for Salky for one more segment before he's back tomorrow. And good news, Jeff Passan will be with us tomorrow as well to wrap up the season with Jeff, Daniel Jeremiah. It's going to be quite a Tuesday after we wrap this baby up right now. It's Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
4 Down Territory. Michael Bumpus answers the top 4 football questions of the day.
What have the first 7 games of the season shown you about the Seahawks?
They're low-key deep. I mean, you got Ty Okada out there making plays.
Breakup.
You have Drake Thomas starting now. You got Josh Jobe, who was starting tackles yesterday. Nemhauser, who's finding himself. Because guys have been hurt, guys have been able to play.
Catch every 4 Down Territory on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and it's time to make the final push to the end of the year. Do you want to lose weight, improve your health, and have more energy? We have a proven system and a team of health coaches that have helped over 4,000 people in Washington lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. No gimmicks, no tricks, no drugs, just teaching you how to become a fat-burning machine and keep it off long-term. Visit eastsideweightlossclinic.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Yeah, it's Mike Salk here. And just like writing that essay back in high school or maybe in college, starting, that can be the hardest part. Well, Eastside Weight Loss Clinic makes it as easy as possible. They helped me lose 35 pounds in just 60 days. A no-pressure, free 15-minute phone consultation. See if it's right for you. And if it is, you got nothing to lose but the weight itself.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, and you can do our program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
At Bank of America, we asked our people, how do you take ownership of your career?
I'm able to grow my way by putting the priorities that I have for my career first.
I thrive on being a leader who's behind the team, not in front of the team.
Every few years, I'm being re-energized because I get to do something different and learn something new.
See how our teammates are growing in their careers at bankofamerica.com/great place to work. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Lowe's knows pros want more. Join My Lowe's Pro Rewards for free to get $20 off your first qualifying purchase of $100 or more just for signing up. Plus, enjoy free standard shipping and more ways to save on your next job. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer valid for new members only. Not valid with any other discount. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowe's.com/pro loyalty for details. Subject to change.
This is the home of the Seahawks.
Going to let one fly deep. Got a man out there. Ball is caught down at the 10-yard line, and it's JSN.
Seattle Sports.
Got neighbors? Big Trees can help. This is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. If you've been considering planting trees to add privacy, look no further than Big Trees. Privacy trees fill in empty spaces, help to define property lines, and add curb appeal. Learn more about Big Trees' big supply of privacy trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/sports. QUO.com/sports.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, welcome back into the Brock and Salk Show. Brock is very proud of himself when Salk is out about staying on time, but he didn't show up from break in time.
Get in the freaking huddle.
Today, so what's going on?
Sorry, I had to run around. We had a real busy house this weekend. It was crazy. But nobody needs to know any of that. Instead, we get to spin all around the NFL with Miss Maura Dooley, the Sound Hound. By the way, I shot you a little note last night, Maura. I think epic. I'll let Salk know, too. Like, that might have been the most epic email, the most epic game plan, the most epic sheet you've ever put together in the history of the Brock and Salk Show. So, well done, and you get to wrap it up with all sorts of fun sounds and sights of the NFL over the weekend.
All right, we will start. You guys were just kind of talking about this casually off air, about how impressive Indianapolis has been. So we'll start there. Jonathan Taylor is having an incredible season for the Colts. He had 153 yards and 2 touchdowns on just 12 carries yesterday with the help of this 80-yard touchdown.
Colts ball at the 20. Here's Jonathan Taylor on first down. Big hole. JT in the open field. Down the sideline. Staying in bounds. Still going. Taylor. The distance.
He's the NFL's leading rusher, and not by a small margin. His 850 yards are 97 more than the next closest back, which is Buffalo's James Cook, and he already has 10 touchdowns. He's on pace for 1,753 rushing yards and 32 touchdowns. Should he be in the MVP conversation?
Well, yes, because I think we need to rethink how the MVP award is given out. It's basically, it goes to the best quarterback. And when was the last time a non-quarterback won the MVP? Was it Adrian Peterson back over a decade ago? It just seems like now we have sort of reserved, okay, Offensive Player of the Year is for the best non-quarterback.
It was in 2012, Adrian Peterson.
2012, yeah, that's right. I think he was coming off the torn ACL, which was wild.
He rushed for 2,097 yards.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that, should he be in the MVP conversation? Yes, but that requires us to rethink what the MVP is. Certainly, he's the front runner for the Offensive Player of the Year award right now.
I will say this, though. It's kind of a goofy year when it comes to quarterbacks. It's not Lamar. It's not like Josh Allen. It's not like those names, Brady, that, have been atop the MVP votes are having those kind of years. Lamar obviously out. Baker Mayfield having a really nice year. Jared Goff having a really nice year. Saquon, I think, started this conversation last year. But unfortunately, Saquon had to deal with Lamar and Josh and all their star power and all their wins. You know what's wild? I'm looking at the point differential. We do this a lot in baseball, Brady. The run differential, through time and baseball and all the data points can be a fairly telling statistic. It's not always 100%, but it's fairly telling of where your team is. And this last baseball season, the Brewers, of all people, the Brewers were like off the charts and an off the chart season. Do you know who leads the NFL in point differential by a lot?
I'm going to guess the Colts.
Yeah, how about plus 119?
Wow.
Yeah, New England plus 67, Buffalo plus 61 in the NFC. The Seahawks have been close.
I think they're right there with the Rams, right?
They are plus 57 and plus 58. The Detroit Lions are plus 64, leading the NFL. So Seahawks 7 points behind them, 1 point behind LA, and then the Colts are plus 116. The best in the league, 7-1, the best in the league.
That's wild. Yeah, Dan, and there's a separate conversation to be had about Daniel Jones. And let me ask you this, Brock. If I were to ask you, what are the 3 or 4 worst run organizations in the NFL? What would you say?
The Jets.
Okay.
We'll get to them in a second. The Jets have got to be way up there. Cleveland, unfortunately, got to be way up there. Places that have had just constant turnover of coaches and quarterbacks. And Arizona, coaches and quarterbacks, coaches and quarterbacks, coaches and quarterbacks. So I would put, I'm probably missing some. The Raiders obviously are on the struggle bus and have been for some time. Was chatting with a former Seahawk that was a Raider as well, and just saying, golly, like just the culture was so broken that, when you go there and experience it. So those are some rough ones. And if you're in Minnesota right now, what are you thinking as a Vikings fan? We picked J.J. McCarthy instead of Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones.
And Daniel Jones, yeah. Well,
and Daniel Jones.
Yeah, and the reason this was a Daniel Jones-related question, I would add the Giants to that list. And I think what you're seeing, certainly the Giants have a great history, but for the last decade or so, since that most recent Super Bowl team, they've just been, it's everything you said there, just dysfunction with one head coach after another, bad decisions, one bad decision after another. I think what you're seeing with Daniel Jones is maybe kind of similar to what you're seeing with Sam Darnold. Is some of those early struggles, they were on the quarterback. So it's not to absolve them, but I think what you're seeing is a lot of that was a function of bad organization, bad coaching, just bad decision-making around the quarterback. And I do wonder if that's a big factor in why you're seeing, not to absolve the quarterback of all of the mistakes that they made, but I do wonder if that's a factor, kind of much like you've seen Sam Darnold take off when he got out of a bad organization with the Giants, got into a good organization in San Francisco, which is really when I think his turnaround truly started. I wonder if maybe you're seeing some of that with Daniel Jones.
Another team you could add to that list that had both Darnold and Mayfield is the Panthers.
Yeah. Yep. It's wild. Yeah, and having a running back and O-line makes you pretty good. Shane Steichen is honestly a really good play caller. and was in L.A. with Herbert and people around the league, I think, really respect Brady, him, and his ability to have answers for his quarterback. And, yeah, not only number one point differential, number one offense, 34 points a game by those Colts, exactly what everybody expected in 2025.
All right, well, one of the organizations you mentioned is up next. Justin Fields and the Jets squeaked out their first win of the season with a 39-38 win over the Bengals. Fields was 21 for 32 for 244 yards and a touchdown. But running back Breece Hall was amazing, rushing for 133 yards and a touchdown. He also threw the go-ahead touchdown pass with 2 minutes left in the game. There's obviously a lot of off-the-field drama for the team this week, as owner Woody Johnson kind of publicly threw Fields under the bus for his play. He talked after the game about the emotions of that week.
I'm gonna get pretty vulnerable right here, but this week I found myself in my closet crying, on the ground, laying down. Not because of the hardships, not because of the troubles. I felt like, I was built to handle that, and I was put in place to handle this situation. But in that moment when I was talking to my best friend, how hard it was, and just, not wavering faith-wise. I just had gotten a text from my sister and my stepmom, and it was just an encouraging text on, just keep going and keep spreading the faith. And it was just a sign from God for me to keep going, and that, I'm in the right place. Yesterday I was just praying over and over and over again, like, just one win. And, but all that to say is that, God is real, God is good, and everything that we go through in this life is for a purpose.
It's a heavy lift, Brady. It is a heavy, heavy lift to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. You feel the weight of expectations. We talked last hour with Hasselbeck about humility and just being a guy and being real and all of those things. You got to be that to your locker room. You do feel the weight of expectation for family and friends, fans in your community. When Julio let out that roar in the clubhouse after they lost Game 7, I felt a lot of just a release of emotion, and we didn't get it done for each other and for our community and for the Mariners fans. There's a weight, and I can appreciate when a guy is vulnerable and transparent like that, because he's not the only one that's been in a fetal position crying over the weight of all that they carry. I think you'd be surprised how many guys through their ups and downs of their career find themselves in that kind of situation.
Yeah, and I think his was unique in the sense that it was the owner coming out publicly and basically pinning the entire team's struggles on the quarterback, which is speaking in terms that, he may have not been wrong about how poorly Justin Fields had been playing, but to hear that come from the owner, to basically get thrown under the bus like that, you don't hear that. Very rare. And it was the kind of comment that is typically only made when a team has decided that, okay, this guy is no longer going to be the quarterback. And I'm guessing that they had planned to go to Tyrod Taylor, only to realize that he was hurt and that they couldn't do that. I can't imagine that that an owner, even the most impetuous owner, would allow himself to just totally air a guy out like that in public, thinking that he was going to be their starting quarterback the next week. So
you think you can use words like impetuous?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
You're used to passing and Salk.
Lyle, any understanding of what that word means?
Next.
Yeah, you're just sort of like giving into your own whims, like no self-control. Yeah, he's impetuous. Like how can you as an owner stand
Know
up?
your audience, Brady. Know your audience.
Yeah, okay. Well, look. All right. Is there harm in learning a new word? Okay.
Not at all.
Well, actually, we've come to learn that Lyle hates learning with a passion.
Okay. Well, whatever you want to call it. That was a very odd thing for the owner to do, and good for Justin Fields.
It's very little. You know what it was? A very little man. Very little. Very, very small. Okay, here we go. Push it along.
All right. Did you want me to squeeze this one in here, Brock? You sent this to us, and it has nothing to do with football.
Oh,
but
I
it
do,
was fun.
please.
Terry Bradshaw.
Please. Yes.
It was supposed to be about football. Terry Bradshaw was supposed to be discussing post-game with his co-host on Fox yesterday, and this was what came out of his mouth instead.
But the thing that I would worry about more so in Washington is the other day I text Andy Reid, and I got a text back And I thought it was Andy Reid, but it was some guy selling pigs. But it sounded good. I shouldn't have told y'all that, so y'all would have thought I actually talked to Andy Reid, but I didn't really.
Did you see Strahan's face?
Yeah.
How did you accidentally get text from someone selling pigs?
Yeah, it's
like a dream sequence playing out.
I'm going to guess that pig farmer in Louisiana's name is Andy Red. And he knows him, so he just went to his Andy's thinking it was Andy Reid, and it was actually not Andy Reid, some other pig farmer named Andy.
That's as good a theory as I can come up with. Yeah.
And then why did he choose to tell that story in the middle
That's a
of
better
post-game?
question, Laura.
Yeah.
That's a better question.
Yeah, I feel like he could, and then we didn't see the whole clip. Maybe there was some explanation that tied it all together, but
Michael Strahan looked thoroughly confused.
Yeah. Salk's been there. Mora's been there. Brady, you probably been there when I started to say things like, why are you saying this right now? Probably move it along. Move it along.
That was bizarre. Yeah. I'm hooked on what actually was he getting at there? What was the point that was being attempted?
That's a great question. No, I don't
I think
it
you're
was
reading too much into Terry Bradshaw.
Brady, when you get older, and I'll be 50 in April, and I see this coming down the corner, you start a conversation and you start your thought, and then poof, that thought just disappears on you.
Yeah.
And you got to try to circle back.
You got to save it.
Not easy.
Yeah. It's like you get to the top of your backswing and you realize, oh boy, this is not what I wanted, and you just
not good.
You try to save it, you know. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't.
Well, the game disappeared like that thought for the Panthers very quickly yesterday against the Bills. They lost 40-9. The Bills racked up 245 rushing yards in the process. And after the game, Josh Allen spoke to something we've been talking about a lot, which is how much easier things are for the quarterback when you get the run game going.
Yeah, anytime you can run the ball that well, it's going to do things for your offense. Quick game, play action game. That second half is how we feel like we should play. The first half, running the ball well, but wasn't to my standard in terms of how we want to attack it through the air. And again, a lot to learn on and improve on.
Where are you at with that? I'm going to sort of tie this into the Bills because, they would be sort of near the top of some power rankings, but, kind of much like you were talking about with the quarterbacks and the point you made about how there's no real quarterback who is having that clear-cut MVP type season. There's no real team that is that clear-cut juggernaut. The Bills would kind of be maybe in that upper echelon, but they've looked plenty vulnerable this season. Where do you think
the Patriots are actually in first place in that division?
Yeah, that's right. So where do you think the Seahawks, in kind of a year where no team has really established itself as being this truly dominant week in, week out force, where do you think the Seahawks are?
Yeah, I think they're certainly in the top 10. Anybody that has them outside of the top 10 of a power ranking, I would look at their quality wins. I would look at their scoring differential. And then I would look at, the way you win in the NFL. It wasn't 100%, Brady. I went through all the games yesterday looking at sack totals. But like that game, they sacked Andy Dalton 7 times. It's a no contest. You're not going to win in this league when you're sacked 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. It's just negative plays. They're not quite turnovers, but many times they end drives.
Yeah.
The numbers are pretty clear from a data standpoint. When you get sacked on a drive, it is really hard to go down in that drive and score points. So you sack him 7 times as they did yesterday, and we saw the Seahawks do that, right, to opponents this year. They have that capability, right? It's kind of like, again, using a baseball analogy and a playoff baseball analogy. If you strike people out and you hit home runs, you win a lot of games. If you have power and just hit home runs and get on base and hit home runs, you win a lot of games. I feel like in the NFL, if you consistently sack quarterbacks, you win games. And the Broncos are doing it. The Bills can do it. The Seahawks can do it. The Eagles can do it, right? The Buccaneers, to a degree, can do it. Houston staying alive because they can do it. Look at the teams that lead in sacks, and they're all pretty darn good teams. So anybody that has the Seahawks right now outside the top 10, I would take some umbrage with.
I love the analogy that you and Brock have used about the Seahawks group of pass rush, or really
Me and Brock?
You and Salk have used about.
Is that a Terry Bradshaw moment?
Well, yeah.
Pig farmer?
I'm not going to talk about pigs, but the analogy you guys have used comparing the Seahawks group of edge rushers to a baseball rotation, to where there is not the Cy Young Award-winning ace in that group of edge rushers, but you know what there are? There's a lot of really good number 2 and number 3 starters. And I think that you're seeing that, when the whole thing is not dependent on one guy, well, you can get by if one of those guys has an off week because you know that there's 2 or 3 other guys who are going to be there to keep putting the pressure on quarterbacks. And so that's this team has a very deep group of edge rushers. And by the way, Uchenna Nwosu, a lot of question marks about him coming into this season, about, could he stay healthy? When was he going to get back on the field? Well, he misses only the one game, and you've seen that playing time just steadily go up each week. And he is not only staying out there and being healthy and playing, but he's making plays and making an impact on games.
Yeah, and then you throw in on top of that, Brady, those are the 4 edge rushers you're commenting about. Then you throw on top of maybe the best 1-2 punch. I think I asked Daniel Jeremiah last week, who's got a tandem of Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy? Who's got a tandem in the league that is better than those guys? Right? Maybe you put Vita Vea, and there's certainly some difference makers. Philly, when healthy, got some difference makers. But the ascension of Byron Murphy with Leonard Williams and Jaron Reed inside, now you go inside, outside. Now you become a really dominant defensive line, which has been, save for the Tampa game when a couple of those guys got knocked out, save for that game, this has been a group that's imposed their will, and that is a great formula in the NFL.
And those are aces, in keeping with the baseball analogy. Those are not number 2, number 3 starters. Those are a couple of aces at the top of the rotation. Yep.
All right, Maura, I think we can sneak one more in here.
Sure. The Cowboys suffered an embarrassing 44-24 loss to the Broncos Sunday. Dak Prescott, who's been really good this season, only threw for 188 yards, had 2 interceptions, while Bo Nix threw for 247 yards and 4 touchdowns. The Cowboys were rumored to be considering a big move like Raiders pass rusher Max Crosby at the trade deadline. Jerry Jones was asked post-game if this loss changed any of his plans.
Well, a loss is discouraging. But as far as my temperament, if I saw a proposition for us to help this team, no matter what this score was today, then I would look at it on the merits of helping this team. And if you're talking about trading for a player or trading a player, I'd completely look at it on the merits of the team, both for next week or the weeks after or for the longer term. So I'd have to answer your question, no, today would not affect a decision on trading for a player.
They don't feel like a team that should be adding, but they have a, $60 million quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's playing really well.
He is, and Pickens and CD are really good, and they're offensively, they were right there with the Colts as far as leading the league in scoring. And Denver, by the way, is a really, you want to talk about another front and front 7 that's comparable to the Seahawks, and I think they've actually got 10 more sacks even than the Seahawks do as they lead the league in that way. They are phenomenal in their front. Max Crosby? Would Max Crosby help the Cowboys? That defense is as good as they are offensively, Brady. That is the league's worst defense, and it was at times embarrassing yesterday.
Yeah, it was funny. I think they picked off Bo Nix on one of his first couple
series.
throws. Yeah, the first series where it looks like he miscommunicated with the receiver and he gets picked off. And then for the next 3 3/4 quarters, there was just no resistance from that Dallas defense. And so, they're not having a good season, but I don't think Jerry Jones is going to pack it in, especially with, the rest of the division. Eagles are obviously leading that division right now, but they have looked a little bit vulnerable. I mean, there's been talk of, are they going to trade A.J. Brown at the deadline, which it doesn't sound like they're going to do. But bottom line is, I think with the nature of that division, and again, the nature of there's really no runaway team in either conference so far. Jerry's a guy who likes to make a big splash, and so maybe that could make sense for them.
I mean, you just look at the NFC. That's kind of what I would say here to put the hay in the barn for the show today, Brady, off of the bye week, and to just kind of further that point. Philly's 6-2. They're good. They're plus 23 scoring differential. They had all sorts of one-score wins. They're good. They're not what they've been. Dallas is 3-4-1. Washington could fall to 3-5 tonight with a loss to Kansas City. Giants 2-6. Green Bay 5-1-1. They look like they're a pretty solid outfit all the way around. Detroit 5-2. Chicago loses yesterday. Minnesota 3-4. Right? Tampa 6-2, 4-4, 3-4, 1-7. Arizona 2-5. it's there. Like, it is all there in front of you. You know, this NFC this year, it's, you know, you asked me earlier in the show, like, you know, where do you put the Seahawks in the pecking order? You watch everything in the league yesterday. I put them as a really good team that's right there in the mix with Detroit and Tampa Bay and the Rams, and like, really good team. And they stay healthy and they get everybody back off of this bye, and they keep doing what they're doing and get better and get better and get better. We're not going to just be talking about a World Series run for our baseball team. We could be talking about a significant playoff run for our football team as well.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can get the run game going. It has not been for lack of commitment to it. They have run the ball more than any other offense on a percentage basis in the NFL. It just hasn't really, you know, there's a few things missing. I do wonder if it's some O-line related, just with some of the, you know, question marks at right guard and maybe to a lesser extent at center. But it hasn't been for lack of trying, because they have been committed to it. I still think that they're getting some of the things that they want out of their run game, right? I mean, the some of the short yardage stuff, goal line, certainly, they've been okay in that. Yep. They have had an effective play action game, which I think they're sort of answering the question, or at least they are helping answer the question of, can you have an effective play action game without having a really good run game? Well, I mean, they're second to last in terms of yard per carry, but you know, see regularly that their play action fakes are having the desired result. They do have a pretty good play action game. You know, we'll see if they can get that run game going forward. Maybe it takes a personnel move or two, but we'll see if they can do it.
Well, we'll see. There are a lot of people saying we'll see this morning. We'll see if the Hitman can do 3 hours. It's been a while. Coming off of a bye and a sloth-like week, we'll see if he can do 3 hours. And you know what? You hit it out of the park, as you always do, Brady. I appreciate you jumping in for Salky. Salk will be back tomorrow, passing. Daniel Jeremiah will get back in rhythm. I texted Maura last night. Can't thank her enough. You guys have no idea how much work she does behind the scenes to put all of this together to at least give us a chance to go out there and compete each and every day. So, Maura, thank you. Lyle, I'm glad you're out of the shower. You're functioning. You're talking. We'll have some fun talking some more baseball, I am sure, tomorrow when Salk's back in the house. But for this day, Brady, the hay
in the barn.
See you.
Get to the chopper!
Sean Payton is a bully.
Bump and Stacy.
He went out, tried to bully Russell Wilson on the low.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
I don't care how you feel about Russell Wilson. I think that Sean Payton, he saw an opportunity to take shots at a guy that he felt like wasn't going to say anything back to him. I've heard that he's a decent guy, but in that moment, that was some bully activity right there. Russell, I'm proud of you. Clap back at him and called out some facts, too. So I'm proud of Russell in that moment.
Only on Seattle Sports on 710. Seattle Sports on YouTube and the Seattle Sports app.
The LJ way is. You look at stuff like this and it's like, I don't want to come into an industry and work on a place that is going to compromise how I feel about myself. I get to go to work every day with good people and I get to enjoy what I do because I'm out there just trying to do right by people I care about, which is our community. We're going to see them at the grocery store. I'm going to see them at the sports tournaments. 2 friends of our daughters came in last night just on the lot, didn't know I was there. And it was cool because you got to take them through and they're going to buy a car for their first driver and a car for their kid going to school soon. These are the people that you're going to work with. And so you better make sure that your laundry's clean. I don't think Lee Johnson specifically, right? Speedway Chevrolet, where I'm at, I don't think they've ever had a problem with the community of being able to stand up and look them in the eye and know that they did their job well. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
This Breast Cancer Awareness Month, choose care that puts you first. At Snoqualmie Valley Health, you won't wait weeks for a mammogram. Appointments are available now, just 30 minutes east of Seattle. Experience the difference with advanced 3D mammography and our new Breast Health Suite, designed for accuracy, comfort, and peace of mind. If you're 40 and older, yearly screenings are recommended, and no referral is needed if you haven't had a mammogram in the past year. Don't wait. Detect early. Schedule today at SnoqualmieValleyHealth.org.
Lake Washington Windows was voted best in the Northwest. Celebrate by saving 25% off new Leak Armor installed windows through October. Plus, enjoy 0 down, 0 payments, 0 interest until 2026. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com, a name you can trust.
Hey, it's Brock Ewart here, and you got to take the First Mark Insurance Challenge. It could save you a lot of money and get your family better coverage. First Mark has saved my family thousands of dollars every year. Take the First Mark Challenge. It's totally free. Just simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Sports.